Chapter 1816. Rumble. The leader of the bone-eroding sect used his cultivation to defeat the combined attack of the three from the old tree. However, after the three sneak attacks, an aura suddenly appeared behind the leader of the bone-eroding sect. Claw of the Demon God. Luoluo, who had transformed into the sky-loathing fox, clawed at the back of the leader of the bone-eroding sect. Poof! The leader of the bone-eroding sect was pierced through and his heart was crushed. He died instantly. Then, his body and interspatial ring were taken away by Yi Xian. There were 6 destruction dragon scales in the interspatial ring. What a haul! Haha, awesome! Yi Xian grinned, then quickly broke through the void and left the bone-eroding sect. This time, he obtained 6 destruction dragon scales, which increased the strength of the destruction ghost dragon by 6%. It was really good. After a while, the middle-aged man in white appeared again like before. He broke through again. It seems that I can't leave him alone. This guy broke through with the destruction dragon scales. The middle-aged man in white thought to himself. Fortunately, he had already notified the others. They should be here soon to strangle this bastard in the cradle. At this time, in a corner, Yi Xian, who was checking the interspatial ring of the leader of the bone-eroding sect, suddenly found something interesting inside. The leader of the bone-eroding sect used to have more than 6 dragon scales, but as many as 10. Yi Xian's heart trembled. The leader of the bone-eroding sect originally had 10 destruction dragon scales, but there were only 6 in his interspatial ring. The remaining 4 were not in the hands of the other members of the bone-eroding sect. Instead, the leader of the bone-eroding sect had given them to someone else. This person called himself the Black Dragon Envoy. Black Dragon Envoy? Yi Xian could not help but frown. This Black Dragon Envoy specialized in collecting destruction dragon scales and claimed to serve the Black Dragon sect. The Black Dragon sect and Black Dragon Envoy might be related to the Black Destruction Dragon that the middle-aged man in white spoke of. Normal people only need 1 destruction dragon scale. Even if they have 6, the effect won't be 6 times that of 1. It's just a small increase. If that's the case, why collect so many destruction dragon scales? Yi Xian was very puzzled. The bone-eroding sect had offered the 4 pieces to the Black Dragon Envoy. That was tens of thousands of years ago. Over the past tens of thousands of years, the sect leader of the bone-eroding sect had collected 6 more pieces and was preparing to present them to the Black Dragon Envoy. As for the place where they would meet, the bone-eroding sect had marked it on the map. It was in a canyon near the bone-eroding sect. Coincidentally, in a while, it would be time for the bone-eroding sect leader to exchange the dragon scale of destruction for a large amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It was because of this that the bone-eroding sect could rise so quickly. Black Dragon Envoy? See if I don't rob you. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. This time, his luck was really good. Coincidentally, the Black Dragon Envoy was coming to collect the World Annihilation Dragon Scale. At that time, he could rob the Black Dragon Envoy. For the Black Dragon cult to purchase such a large amount of World Annihilation Dragon Scales, there must be a great use for it. Maybe the Black Dragon Envoy also has a lot of World Annihilation Dragon Scales? With that thought in mind, Yi Xian continued his journey. By the time he arrived at the place where the bone-eroding sect leader and the Black Dragon Envoy had agreed to meet, he had already reached the 5th grade Celestial Emperor realm. In fact, he was not very confident because the Black Dragon Envoy might be an enlightened master. This time, he came here to use the Death Hunt token to mark the Black Dragon Envoy. This way, he would know the Black Dragon Envoy's whereabouts. He would plan his next move after he had grown stronger. The next day was the appointed time. Yi Xian waited quietly. Soon, the next day arrived. While waiting quietly, Yi Xian suddenly felt a powerful aura descend. The person was dressed in black and had a mask, so he could not see his face clearly. However, Yi Xian was certain that the person was the Black Dragon Envoy. After all, this place was extremely barren and almost no one would come here. Yi Xian immediately used the Death Hunt token to mark the person in black. "Boy, what are you doing here?" The person in black rushed over and asked in surprise. "Hello, Senior. This junior is tired from the journey and is resting here." Yi Xian answered honestly. He was only a 5th grade Immortal Emperor. Not even a half-step enlightened master. The person in black naturally did not take him seriously. "I can't be bothered to kill you. Get lost." The person in black shouted sternly. For someone like him, unless someone offended him, he would not bother to kill. Yes, yes, yes. This junior will leave now. Yi Xian quickly nodded and left. However, he did not really leave. Instead, he watched from afar. This person should be an enlightened master. He's much stronger than the sect leader of the bone-eroding sect. Yi Xian raised an eyebrow. The sect leader of the bone-eroding sect was only a 7th grade half-step enlightened master. This person in black was at least an enlightened master, so it would be more difficult to deal with him. However, Yi Xian decided to give it a try. Old Tree, World Devastator Ghost Dragon, Sky-Breaking Ape God, go and meet him. Yi Xian said to the 3 of them. Anyway, the 4 Old Tree were all Dharma treasures. Even if they died, they could be revived. Moreover, he had the time reversal skill. If something happened, he could go back to the past. Old Tree and the other 2 immediately charged at the person in black. What? The person in black trembled violently when he sensed the aura of the World Devastator Ghost Dragon. He turned around and saw the 3 Old Tree charging at him. The aura of one of them made the blood in his body go berserk. His blood boiling meant that he was being suppressed. Otherwise, why would his blood boil? Boiling meant that he was trying to break through the suppression. No matter what it was, he would fight first and talk later. A few scumbags who aren't even half-step enlightened masters dare to cause trouble for me? The person in black immediately took out his weapon when he sensed the killing intent of the 3. With a few swings, countless sword chi swept out. The speed of the attack was shockingly fast. Old Tree and the World Devastator Ghost Dragon were instantly killed. Only Sky-Breaking escaped. So strong. Although the Sky-Breaking Ape God managed to escape, he still couldn't escape death. Not only that, even Wei Zhentian was beaten to a pulp. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Devastator Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Sky-Breaking Ape God are dead. System notifications rang out one after another. The sneak attack failed. However, Yi Xian was only testing this time. Firstly, he wanted to test the strength of the person in black. Secondly, he wanted to see his reaction. Thirdly, he wanted to lure the middle-aged man in white over. After the person in black killed Old Tree and the others, he saw the corpses of the Old Tree disintegrate into nothingness. He wanted to search their souls, but he didn't expect this to happen. Chapter 1817. Tesla. That middle-aged man in white has probably already sensed this energy, right? Yi Xian cracked a smile as he stealthily moved away. The sect master of the bone-eroding sect had not come, but the man in black probably would not leave. Once the middle-aged man in white arrived, who knew what would happen? Sure enough, while the man in black was pondering, the middle-aged man in white really did descend just as Yi Xian had predicted. What? The man in black was stunned. Even though he was at the enlightened master level, he had still been suppressed to the point of being unable to move. Just how strong was this man? Where did that aura come from? The middle-aged man in white slowly asked as he looked at the Black Dragon Envoy. What energy? The Black Dragon Envoy asked in shock. The energy similar to the Black Destruction Dragon. I sensed its appearance here, so I hurried over, the middle-aged man said. This junior does not know. The Black Dragon Envoy shook his head. Forget it, I'll do it myself. Without another word, the middle-aged man began to soul-search the Black Dragon Envoy. With his level, the soul search took less than a second. After that, he found out the identity of the Black Dragon Envoy, the Black Dragon Sect, and Elder Shu, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, and the Sky-Breaking Ape God that had appeared earlier. Black Dragon Envoy. Black Dragon Cult? The middle-aged man in white was stunned. This faction didn't sound right. It was probably related to the Black Destruction Dragon. In the distance, Yi Xian saw that he was unable to learn anything, so he felt that he had failed this test. At this moment, the middle-aged man in white suddenly turned his head, his gaze falling on Yi Xian. Although Yi Xian's eye of insight could see very far, his cultivation was still higher. Since this middle-aged man could suppress the enlightened master-level Black Dragon Envoy, it was only natural that he could see him. By the time Yi Xian reacted, the middle-aged man in white was already in front of him. Once again, he was unable to move. Young man, just now did you see? Before the middle-aged man could finish speaking, he suddenly paused. He felt that Yi Xian's energy was very familiar. Perhaps he had seen it somewhere before. Not good. Yi Xian paled and hurriedly used his trump card. Time reversal. This white-robed middle-aged man clearly wanted to search his soul. If there was one, the other party would know. Therefore, Yi Xian had no other choice. The next moment, he returned to the time before the Black Dragon envoy arrived. Kid, what are you doing here? Greetings. Senior. This junior is tired from the journey and is resting here. Yi Xian repeated his words and then quickly left. Of course, before that, he had already marked the Black Dragon envoy with the Death Pursuit order. However, he did not summon the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon this time, so the white-robed middle-aged man should not know about it. Yi Xian hid far away, looking at the target location of the death warrant. A day later, the Black Dragon envoy saw that the bone-eroding sect leader was still there, so he left immediately. And the direction they were heading for was actually the eroding bone sect. Oh no, this Black Dragon envoy is probably going to pay a visit himself. I hope he doesn't see that middle-aged man in white. Yi Xian raised an eyebrow. If he saw it, he would be in trouble. It was not easy for him to find a big target, so he could not be killed just like that. Yi Xian had no choice but to follow the Black Dragon envoy back to the bone-eroding sect. Yi Xian spent a lot of time on his way here, so it was natural for him to return now. During this time, he broke through to the 6th grade Immortal Emperor realm. At the same time, the Old Tree, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and the Sky-Breaking Ape God finally broke through to the half-step Immortal realm. I wonder if I can fight the Black Dragon envoy now. Yi Xian thought to himself as he followed behind the Black Dragon envoy. In order to verify, he decided to return to the bone-eroding sect first and wait for the Black Dragon envoy's arrival. Anyway, he could use time reversal twice a day. If there were any accidents, he could go back to a few days ago. At most, he would travel for a few more days. It was better to be cautious. This way, time reversal would have a good cooldown. Whoosh! The void door closed, and Yi Xian returned to the vicinity of the bone-eroding sect. Fortunately, the bone-eroding sect was in a mess, but there was nothing out of the ordinary. That middle-aged man in white is very fast. If we really want to fight, we have to end it quickly. If we wait for him to arrive, we will be in trouble. Outside the bone-eroding sect, Yi Xian thought to himself as he looked at the target of the death warrant in the distance. Soon, he saw the Black Dragon envoy again. The Black Dragon envoy also sensed Yi Xian's aura and was surprised. It took him 3 days to rush over. How did Yi Xian, who was not even a half-step immortal master, do it? Without waiting for the Black Dragon envoy to speak, Yi Xian directly attacked. The Old Tree, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, the Sky-Breaking Ape God, and Luo Luo, who was already a half-step immortal master, all moved out. Netherworld Soul-Shattering Strike. Heaven-Shocking 108 Strikes. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Demon God's Claw. The 4 of them used their ultimate moves in an attempt to kill the Black Dragon envoy. What a powerful attack! The Black Dragon envoy was shocked. Although he had fought with Yi Xian and won, Yi Xian had used time reversal. However, Yi Xian had previously used the time reversal skill, so only Yi Xian knew about the battle between him and Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian and the others were now more than 10 times stronger than before. He didn't know if they could defeat the Black Dragon envoy. An ant-like existence dares to cause trouble for me? The Black Dragon envoy snorted coldly. Suddenly, he opened his mouth and let out a dragon's roar. These attacks were all blocked by the Black Dragon envoy's sound wave attack. None of them survived. This time, Yi Xian understood that they were still not a match for the Black Dragon envoy. Sure enough, the Black Dragon envoy had some skills. With no other choice, Yi Xian used time reversal again and returned to the past. Now, he only hoped that the Black Dragon envoy would not encounter the middle-aged man in white. Otherwise, he would be in trouble. The Black Dragon envoy arrived at the bone-eroding sect. After asking around, he found that the sect master of the bone-eroding sect had been killed. Then, a powerful figure descended and suppressed the entire sect. He also searched the souls of everyone in the bone-eroding sect. Even he couldn't do such a thing. Therefore, the Black Dragon envoy broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly left the bone-eroding sect. In the distance, Yi Xian sensed for a moment. When he found that the Black Dragon envoy had left the bone-eroding sect, he was slightly relieved. At this time, he felt that the Black Dragon Envoy was a fat sheep, and he was a wild wolf that had not yet grown up. As long as he grew to a certain point, he could kill the Black Dragon Envoy. Then, Yi Xian followed the Black Dragon Envoy's back, constantly chasing after him. The Black Dragon Envoy was very fast. However, he would occasionally stay in one place for a day or two. He probably had an agreement with some nearby forces to collect dragon scales of destruction here regularly. He wondered how many of them would be on this trip. Chapter 18:18. Soon, a few days had passed. Ding! Host has broken through. You are now a 7th grade immortal emperor. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World-Destroying Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. You are now 2nd grade half-step perfected person. Back then, they were unable to hurt the Black Dragon Envoy. Now that they had broken through again, they should be able to do it, right? Yi Xian thought to himself. Coincidentally, the Black Dragon Envoy had stopped somewhere, as if waiting for a faction to deliver him the scale of annihilation. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian, who was using the Immortal Ascension steps, quickly chased after him. By the time he arrived, he just so happened to see 3 people trading with the Black Dragon Envoy. 9th grade half-step perfected person? Easy. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. With his current strength, he could definitely deal with a half-step perfected person. However, he was not sure about the Black Dragon Envoy. Old Tree, let's go. Immediately, Yi Xian summoned Old Shu and the others through the air, then charged over together. This time, Yi Xian had a feeling that they would succeed. Of course, if they did not succeed, he would continue to follow until he succeeded. The Black Dragon Envoy, who was trading with others, trembled violently when he sensed the aura of the world-destroying ghostly dragon. He had come into contact with the world-destroying ghostly dragon before he reversed time twice. However, this was the first time he encountered the world-destroying ghostly dragon. What's that? The Black Dragon Envoy was shocked, and so were the others. Humph! You are so unlucky to have encountered us. A 9th grade half-step perfected person snorted and turned to attack Old Tree and the others. Old Tree was now a 2nd grade half-step perfected person, and Luo Luo was a 3rd grade half-step perfected person. The 2 of them together were enough to kill the other party, not to mention the Sky-Breaking Ape God and the world-destroying ghostly dragon. In an instant, the 9th grade half-step perfected person was killed by the others. He did not even have to use his ultimate move. What? The other party was shocked. A few low-level half-step perfected person had actually killed a peak half-step perfected person? How is that possible? You have some tricks up your sleeve. You're courting death. The Black Dragon Emissary would definitely do it himself. After all, the 3 of them had cooperated with him to help him find the dragon scales of annihilation. If they died, how could he collect them? Almost all of the people he had found were vicious and evil. The sect master of the bone-eroding sect was the same. After all, it was the easiest way to obtain the apocalyptic dragon scale by killing others for treasures. They're finally making a move. Let's fight. From afar, Yi Xian gave the order through the eyes of several of the monsters. This time, they were determined to capture the Black Dragon Envoy. Undying Fighting Soul. Annihilation Dragon Claw. Flaming Underworld Soul-Locking Chain. 9-Tailed Coil. The Old Tree, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon, and Luo Luo all unleashed their control skills. Their goal was to allow the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape, who was wearing the Mystic Divine Armor, to deal a fatal blow to the Black Dragon Envoy. In the face of so many attacks, the Black Dragon Envoy did the same as before. He opened his mouth and a sound wave attack spread out, instantly nullifying all the attacks. However, the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape had already turned into a streak of light and charged toward him. Heaven-startling 108 strikes. 108 strikes poured down and hit the Black Dragon Envoy's shoulder. In an instant, the Black Dragon Envoy was like a deflated balloon, falling from the sky. If they really had to rank their strength, Wei Zhentian was the weakest, followed by the Old Tree Luo Luo, and the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon was the 2nd strongest. The strongest was naturally the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape. Moreover, the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape was wearing the Mystic Divine Armor. Its combat strength was outstanding. Although this attack was not enough to kill the Black Dragon Envoy, it was enough to severely injure him. Beat him when he's down. Kill him. Yi Xian gave the order from afar. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the group used their trump cards. Black Dragon Flame Wave. Netherworld Soul-Shattering Strike. Demon God's Claw. Heaven-Startling 108 Strikes. With such a powerful attack, the Black Dragon Envoy would not be far from death even if he did not die. The two 9th stage half-step perfected masters in the distance were stunned. What kind of F*King world was this? A few low-stage half-step perfected masters were beating up a perfected master? After they shivered, they immediately had the intention to retreat. Run. At this time, the transaction was already completed. Therefore, it was fine even if they ran away. Yi Xian's target was the Black Dragon Envoy. Rumble. So many attacks landed on the Black Dragon Envoy. However, the Black Dragon Envoy was very tough and managed to withstand them all. Through the shared vision of the group, Yi Xian saw strange black scales appear on the Black Dragon Envoy's body. Those were the World Annihilation Dragon scales. What the F*CK? This guy merged with the World Annihilation Dragon scales? What's going on? Yi Xian was shocked. Before he could react, the Black Dragon Envoy transformed into a huge black dragon. As it turned out, the Black Dragon Envoy was a Zooist and a member of the Black Dragon clan. Of course, the World Annihilation Dragon scales on his body did not belong to him. They belonged to the World Annihilation Black Dragon. Now, Yi Xian somewhat understood what kind of power the Black Dragon sect was. The people of the Black Dragon sect collected dragon scales outside and merged them into their bodies in an attempt to obtain the World Annihilation Black Dragon's abilities or become stronger. Roar! The Black Dragon Envoy was severely injured. Moreover, he was beaten up by a few people who were much weaker than him. His anger was already burning. However, although his strength increased after transforming into his true form, to Yi Xian and the others, he was walking right into a trap. World Annihilation Dragon Roar. At this time, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon suddenly opened its mouth and let out another dragon roar. This move was specially used against beasts. After the Black Dragon Envoy heard it, the bloodline in his body was instantly suppressed and his combat strength decreased by 30%. Moreover, this was not the main point. Wei Zhentian, Myriad Beasts Diagram. After receiving Yi Xian's order, Wei Zhentian instantly changed from the Mystic God armor to the Myriad Beasts Diagram. The Myriad Beasts Diagram suppressed 50% of the combat strength of the surrounding beasts. Although Zooists could transform into humans, they were still beasts in essence. Therefore, the Myriad Beasts Diagram was also effective against the Black Dragon Envoy, who had transformed into his true form. In an instant, the Black Dragon Envoy's aura rapidly decreased to an extremely low level. In addition to his injuries, his combat strength was now less than 10%. It was the best opportunity to be beaten up. Heaven-Startling 108 Strikes. Although he did not have the Mystic God armor, the attack power of the Heaven-Breaking Ape God was still not to be underestimated. Moreover, the Black Dragon Envoy's defense had decreased. Therefore, this strike directly blew up his head. Bang! The Black Dragon Envoy's head exploded. The Black Dragon blood was like a volcanic eruption, and black rain fell. However, the Black Dragon Envoy's dragon heart was still there. Although the Black Dragon Envoy was not dead, he would not live for long. Nether Fire Doppelganger. The old tree quickly burrowed into the wound and then punched the Black Dragon Envoy's dragon heart. Chapter 1819. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. In the distance, Yi Xian heard the system's notification in his head. Then, he quickly broke through the void and brought the old tree and the others back. Then he left. This battle was really thrilling. During the battle, Yi Xian's celestial heart of dazzling speed was beating non-stop. He felt that the middle-aged man in white would be here soon. Sure enough, it was as he had expected. Just as he left, the middle-aged man in white really came. After he sensed the aura, he saw the two escaping 9th-grade half-step immortals. However, these two 9th-grade half-step immortals did not know anything. They only knew that the Black Dragon Envoy was collecting the World Annihilation Dragon scales. At this time, Yi Xian had already escaped far away. Wow, there are 15 World Annihilation Dragon scales in there. What a haul! Yi Xian was overjoyed. 15 World Annihilation Dragon scales could increase the strength of the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon by 15%. Including the previous scales, It would be more than 20 scales. Then, Yi Xian carefully searched the Black Dragon Envoy's interspatial ring. He found that other than those treasures, there was nothing else that could identify him. It seemed that he could only search his soul. However, Yi Xian's current cultivation level was too low. It would take a long time to search his soul. After all, he could not enter the planting space by himself. However, the old tree, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Luo Luo, and the others could. However, the old tree and the others' cultivation levels were too low. It was still a question whether they were qualified. Oh right, the soul-absorbing bell that Wei Zhentian transformed into has the effect of searching one's soul. At this time, Yi Xian's eyes suddenly lit up as he thought of this. However, the soul-absorbing bell was rarer than the Sky Splitter axe. Therefore, Yi Xian was hesitating whether to spend one devour point to fix the soul-absorbing bell. Forget it. Let it come. I guess I will use it often in the future. Then, Yi Xian spent one devour point to fix the soul-absorbing bell. In the future, Wei Zhentian could transform into the soul-absorbing bell any time. Ding! Soul-absorbing bell fixed successfully. As a result, Yi Xian only had 2 devour points left. Wei Zhentian search his soul. Yi Xian ordered Wei shakes the world. The soul-sucking bell was a pretty good magic treasure. Even though Wei Zhentian was the one doing the soul-searching, Yi Xian could see it through his contract with Wei Zhentian. This was equivalent to him doing the soul-searching himself. Although the soul-searching time was not short, it was fortunate that it was in the planting space. 100 years in the planting space was only a day in the outside world. So that's how it is. These Black Dragon envoys belong to the Black Dragon cult, but they are only external members of the Black Dragon cult. The Black Dragon cult taught them how to fuse with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale, and they collected extra World Annihilation Dragon Scales for the Black Dragon cult. Yi Xian immediately understood. No wonder he felt that there was something wrong with the Black Dragon envoy's strength. Even so, Yi Xian did not want to fuse with the Dragon Scale of Annihilation. He was afraid that something would happen to him. However, Yi Xian was most concerned about this Black Dragon envoy and the other Black Dragon envoys. Moreover, there was a Black Dragon token in his interspatial ring. It was a token for someone to join the Black Dragon sect and become a peripheral envoy. If I can join the Black Dragon sect, I might be able to grasp the whereabouts of many people. It will be easier for me to do things then. However, I don't know what this person looks like. If I want to replace him, I might have to find him first. Yi Xian thought to himself. According to the Black Dragon envoy's memories, the person he was looking for was only a half-step perfected person. However, the Black Dragon sect did not know who he was looking for. They only had a portrait. Therefore, Yi Xian still had a chance. However, he had to find this half-step perfected person first. This person is the son of a friend of the Black Dragon envoy. He is the city lord of a city. He is a 9th grade half-step perfected person. Yi Xian quickly checked the map and found the location. He immediately rushed over. Along the way, he thought that his people's realms were too low. He was not even a half-step perfected person. If he went to the Black Dragon sect, he would definitely be discovered. Therefore, he wanted to control this 9th grade half-step perfected person. If he wanted to hurry, it would take at least a month. Fortunately, there were teleportation portals in the nearby cities. Yi Xian used these portals to teleport to his destination. The city lord of White Feather City. After landing, Yi Xian sensed the aura of a perfected person in the White Feather City Lord Mansion. It seemed to be the friend of the Black Dragon envoy. Just in case, Yi Xian decided to stay here for a few days. Ding! The host has broken through. The host is now an 8th grade immortal emperor. Ding! The World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Yanming Ghostly Lord, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. The host is now a 3rd grade half-step perfected person. After they broke through again, Yi Xian decided to take action. Let's go! Yi Xian came to the front of the City Lord Mansion and gave the order. This time, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon was not needed. In an instant, the old tree Luo Luo and Sky-Breaking Ape God moved out. With lightning speed, they captured the City Lord of White Feather City and his father. The two of them were forcefully brought into White Feather City by Yi Xian. After that, they were forced into the planting space by threats. The plant dimension was very slow, so Yi Xian had plenty of time to torture them. In the end, the two of them had no choice but to become Yi Xian's puppets. Now that the matter of the people is settled, the next step is to go to a branch of the Black Dragon sect. Yi Xian thought to himself. This branch of the Black Dragon sect could be reached directly through White Feather City's teleportation portal. However, before that, Yi Xian used the City Lord of White Feather City and his father as a trump card to ransack the City Lord mansion. After that, he left. The Black Dragon sect was spread all over the world. In this branch, there were only a few Black Dragon envoys, but they were all at the perfected person level. Yi Xian asked the City Lord of White Feather City to take the order of the Black Dragon envoy and enter the Black Dragon sect's branch. Of course, before that, Wei Zhentian had turned into a hairpin. Just like that, the City Lord of White Feather City naturally became a Black Dragon envoy. At the same time, he came into contact with other Black Dragon envoys. Next, it was time for Yi Xian to use the death warrant to mark these people. The Black Dragon sect's branch was very hidden, but Yi Xian already knew about it. He was guarding there and marked 5 targets of the death warrant, including one of the branch lords. This branch lord must have a connection with the higher-ups. I'll deal with him later, Yi Xian thought to himself. Chapter 1820. These 4 Black Dragon ambassadors were all rank 1 true masters. Moreover, they were all Zuyuyoists who had fused with 1 to 3 dragon scales. Their strength was much stronger than ordinary people. As for the branch leader, he was a rank 2 true master. No one knew how many dragon scales he had fused with, but he was very strong. Yi Xian actually had the strength to destroy this branch now. However, he didn't want to expose himself, so he had to do it secretly. Soon, one of the Black Dragon ambassadors left the branch, preparing to return to his faction to cultivate. It would take time for people to collect the world-destroying dragon scales. They would only leave once in a while. After all, the number of world-destroying dragon scales would only decrease. Yi Xian followed this Black Dragon ambassador out, preparing to attack after he was far away. During this time, he had finally reached rank 9 Immortal Emperor. Old Tree, World-Destroying Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape had also reached rank 4 half-true masters. This time, he didn't need to follow them anymore. He could just attack. Old Tree Luo, go! Yi Xian said to the two. A mere rank 1 true master didn't need the world-destroying Ghost Dragon or the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. A rank 5 half-true master like Luo was enough. Luo, who had transformed into her true form, and Old Tree, who had put on the Mystic God armor, caught up with the Black Dragon ambassador in an instant. Netherworld's soul-shattering strike. Claw of the Demon God. Old Tree and Luo attacked with all their strength, quickly finishing off this Black Dragon ambassador. As expected, this Black Dragon ambassador only had 2 world-destroying dragon scales in his interspatial ring. He was preparing to fuse with them himself. He must have given the rest to the branch leader. Yi Xian thought to himself. However, he didn't lose anything this time. After all, it was a free win. Since he had already broken through, the next step would be to destroy this Black Dragon sect branch. Whoosh! Yi Xian immediately broke through the void and returned. In the next moment, Wei Zhentian put on the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. Even without the Mystic Divine armor, the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape's combat power was much stronger than Luo's. If he put on the Mystic Divine armor, even if Old Shu Luo and the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon worked together, they would not be his match. Kill them all, leave no one alive. After Yi Xian gave the order, Old Tree and the others charged in. Their target was the 3 Black Dragon ambassadors and the branch leader. Bang! 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 A series of shocking explosions echoed in the city. The sneak attack of Old Tree and the others instantly killed the 3 Black Dragon envoys. Damn it, have we been exposed? The expression of the rank 2 true master of the Black Dragon cult's branch changed. Before he could transform, 108 stick shadows fell on him. Boom! This time, the Black Dragon Society's branch leader's head and heart exploded, and he died instantly. After his death, the Old Tree quickly swept over and collected the corpse and the interspatial ring. Then, it tore open the void and left. This time, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon did not attack. Therefore, Yi Xian was not worried that the middle-aged man in white would come after him. After that, Yi Xian did not care about the others. He tore open the void and left. Now that he had enough cultivation resources to break through, he did not have to worry about anything else. He focused on collecting the World Devastator dragon scales. However, the harvest this time was the largest in Yi Xian's history. There were a total of 30 World Devastator dragon scales in the branch leader's interspatial ring. Moreover, there was even a pinky-sized World Devastator dragon bone. A World Devastator dragon bone could increase one's strength by at least 10%. This was equivalent to 10 World Devastator dragon scales. Haha, Ribs, you're having a great time. Yi Xian did not say anything. He directly handed the World Devastator ghostly dragon scales and dragon bones to let it absorb them all. Including the previous ones, the World Devastator ghostly dragon's strength had increased by nearly 70%. If this continued, it would not be a problem to increase it by 100% or even 1000%. From now on, Yi Xian would have to rely on the World Devastator ghostly dragon for a living. Speaking of which, after the branch leader died, his soul was also searched by the soul-sucking bell. The branches of the Black Dragon sect were all promoted one level at a time. They did not know the locations of the branches of the same level, but they knew the locations of the higher-level branches. The branch leader of the higher-level branch was a 5th-stage true master. He was not weak and had a large number of Black Dragon envoys under his command. Therefore, Yi Xian had to be fully prepared before he went there. After a while, the World Devastator ghostly dragon's strength will probably catch up to the sky-breaking ape god. When that time comes, it will be able to kill anyone in its way. Yi Xian thought to himself and continued on his way. Their next destination was a faction called the Green Feather Sect. Their leader was the branch leader of the Black Dragon sect. Although they could use the teleportation formation, some parts of the journey still required them to fly. During this time, Yi Xian finally broke through to the half-step True Master realm. As for the old tree and the others, they were 5th-stage True Masters. The second immortal grade bloodline can be exchanged? At this moment, Yi Xian raised his eyebrows as he noticed this change. The second immortal grade bloodline required 4 Devour points to exchange. However, Yi Xian only had 2 Devour points at the moment. Therefore he could not exchange for it. What a tragedy. I can only hope that I can trigger the Trial Tower's refresh mission. Yi Xian sighed helplessly. As long as the Trial Tower refreshed, he would be able to reach the 9th floor again and obtain 9 Devour points. At that time, the second immortal grade bloodline could be unlocked. However, Yi Xian only had 2 Devour points at the moment. Therefore, he did not consider this problem for the time being. After a few days, he finally arrived at the Green Feather Sect. However, with his current strength, it would not be easy for him to destroy the Green Feather Sect. However, just as he was feeling surprised. At this moment, Yi Xian raised his eyebrows as he saw puppets walking out of the Green Feather Sect. Why are these puppets so similar to the ones that Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master gave me? Yi Xian trembled. Could it be that the Green Feather Sect was related to Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master? Although the previous 100 puppets were strong, they were only at the level of a first-grade half-step Enlightened Master. However, the current green puppets were at least at the level of a 5th-grade half-step Enlightened Master. If 100 of them were to be added together, they would be able to challenge several realms higher. This Green Feather Sect was not simple. Yi Xian recalled that Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master had said that as long as he could find it, Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master would accept him as his disciple. Of course, this was under the condition that Yi Xian learned the 100 machine drill. If Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master was related to the Green Feather Sect, then he could sneak in and take a look. However, if they were related, then it would be difficult for him to take action. No matter what, Yi Xian had to take a look. After all, Spiritual Heart Enlightened Master had contributed to his arrival in the Holy World. At this moment, Yi Xian approached the Green Feather Sect. Sir, is there a problem? Chapter 1821. Excuse me, is Taoist Spirit Heart here? Yi Xian asked directly. He didn't ask if there was a person called Taoist Spirit Heart in the Blue Feather Sect. The green-clothed disciple glanced at Yi Xian. The latter was only a half-step Taoist master, so in his eyes, he was like an ant. Why are you looking for the Vice Sect Master? The green-clothed disciple asked impatiently. After all, Yi Xian was only a half-step Taoist master, yet he wanted to look for the Vice Sect Master. Didn't he know that they were of the same level? Is it really here? Hearing this, Yi Xian was slightly surprised. Combined with the puppet, he should be able to confirm that this Taoist spirit heart was the one he was looking for. It's like this. Taoist spirit heart left behind a ruin outside. Yi Xian began to explain. But before he could finish, the green-clothed disciple interrupted. Stop, I understand. Then, with a wave of his hand, 100 puppets appeared. He said to Yi Xian, if you want to see the Vice Sect Master, you have to use the 100 machine drill. That's easy. Yi Xian grinned. With a thought, the 100 puppets moved in the next moment and formed various battle formations. Okay, you pass. The green-clothed disciple nodded. Wait here, I'll go in and report. Now, Yi Xian was 100% sure that Taoist spirit heart was in the Blue Feather sect. However, he wasn't too interested in becoming Taoist spirit heart's disciple. Even if he used the 100 machine drill, he would only be able to face a half-step Taoist master of the 3rd or 4th stage. However, Yi Xian's strength was enough to face a half-step Taoist master of the 7th stage. He didn't need these things. After a while, the disciple returned with another person. It was a middle-aged man with great strength. He was at least a 2nd stage Taoist master. Is it him? The middle-aged man asked. Yes. The disciple nodded. All right, show me the drill of 100 machines again. The middle-aged man turned his head and said to Yi Xian. Although Yi Xian did not know who this middle-aged man was, he still did as he was told. After the middle-aged man confirmed, he nodded slightly and said, Yes, it is indeed the 100 machine drill. Come with me. Yes. Yi Xian responded and immediately followed. My name is Ling Mu Yun, the 7th disciple of Spiritual Heart Reverend. However, my master is in seclusion now, so I can only accept it on behalf of him. After Ling Mu Yun finished speaking, he asked, What's your name? Where did you see Spiritual Heart Venerable? My name is Yi Xian. Yi Xian replied. However, when he reported the location, Ling Mu Yun shuddered and said, Our clan was in the vicinity previously. Family? Upon hearing this, it was Yi Xian's turn to be shocked. He suddenly remembered Ling Mu Yun's surname and immediately asked, Senior brother, are you from the Ling family's escort agency? What? Ling Mu Yun stopped in his tracks and asked in shock. You know? I accidentally entered Spiritual Heart Reverend's relic and met Ling Kai there. However, when he returned, the Ling family's escort agency had already moved. Yi Xian said slowly. He did not expect Ling Mu Yun to be from the Ling family. At this moment, he recalled that Spiritual Heart Reverend said that Ling Kai was the descendant of his old friend. Then, it made sense that the Ling family had moved to the Green Feather sect. Ling Kai. That's my nephew. Where is he now? Ling Mu Yun asked in surprise. He's still at the same place, but there's a Lin family's escort agency. It was established by Lin Miao. Yi Xian replied. The Lin family's escort agency? I thought that group of people had already disbanded. I didn't expect them to still be there. Ling Mu Yun was quite shocked. Yi Xian was the same. He did not expect the Ling family to improve so quickly after moving away. One had to know that the strongest person in the Ling family's escort agency was only a first-grade half-step perfected person. But now, they had reached the level of a perfected person. It seemed that they were riding on Spiritual Heart Reverend's coattails. However, why did the Ling family leave in such a hurry back then? And why did they only take away their own clansmen and not outsiders? What was the reason? Yi Xian did not want to think too much about it and decided to observe the situation first. Is Ling Kai still in the Lin family's escort agency? I'll send someone to pick him up later. Ling Mu Yun said. This time it was really unexpected. He did not expect to meet someone from the Ling family in the Green Feather sect. However, this place was very far away from the Lin family's escort agency. After all, Yi Xian had arrived by teleportation several times. It was no wonder that the Lin family's escort agency could not find him. Then, Ling Mu Yun brought Yi Xian to a large hall and accepted Yi Xian as his disciple on behalf of his master, Spiritual Heart Reverend. Yi Xian did not care about this. He thought that after becoming Spiritual Heart Reverend's disciple, he might be able to investigate some things. Master has a total of 10 disciples. I'm the 7th and you're the 10th. However, Master is now in seclusion and has not come out for 10,000 years. When he comes out, you can give him the formal apprenticeship ceremony. Ling Mu Yun said to Yi Xian. Yes. Seventh senior brother. Yi Xian nodded. He estimated that he would not be able to see Spiritual Heart Reverend. After all, he had been in seclusion for 10,000 years. He was only going to stay for a few days. Then, Ling Muyun brought Yi Xian to meet the other members of the Ling family, such as Ling Kai's father and grandfather. When everyone heard the news about Ling Kai, they were very happy. They had moved quickly because they were afraid of being wiped out. That was why they disbanded the Ling family's escort agency. At that time, many of the Ling family's disciples were still outside, including Ling Kai. They did not know about this. Yi Xian looked at this group of people and could not help but feel puzzled. Why did the Ling family move back then? However, this question did not have much to do with him. What he cared about now was how to get in touch with the Black Dragon Society's branch leader. From the memories of the previous branch leader, he knew that every time he sent the dragon scale to the designated location in the Green Feather sect, someone would take it away. This branch leader was the sect master of the Green Feather sect. He was the one who collected the dragon scale of annihilation. However, the Ling family and Spiritual Heart Reverend were both in the Green Feather sect. Furthermore, Spiritual Heart Reverend was the vice sect master and had a close relationship with him. Therefore, Yi Xian was in a dilemma. Right, I can first kill the Green Feather sect master and then search his soul. Finally, I can use the time reversal skill. This way, the memories of others will disappear, but mine won't. At this time, Yi Xian's eyes suddenly lit up as he thought of this. Time reversal could be used like this. This is going to be fun. In that case, he could first kill the Ling family's people and then search their souls. Finally, he could use the time reversal skill to return to the time before he joined the Green Feather sect. This way, he would know why the Ling family moved. However, at this time, Patriarch, this is bad. Chapter 1822. What's the matter? Why are you making such a big fuss? Ling Kai's grandfather, Ling Xiong, asked. He was the current clan leader of the Ling family, and was once the deputy chief of the Ling family escort agency. I heard that the sect leader is going to attack us. The Ling family disciple said directly, ignoring the presence of Yi Xian, an outsider. What? As soon as these words came out, it immediately shocked everyone. The sect leader was going to attack the Ling family? Even Yi Xian was surprised. Could it be that the sect leader was not on good terms with Spiritual Heart's spiritual master? If that was the case, it would be much more convenient. That bastard, he doesn't care about the friendship between the two families. He wants to destroy the Ling family just for a destructive dragon bone. Ling Xiong shouted angrily. Now, Yi Xian understood the reason. So it was for a world destruction dragon bone. A destructive dragon bone was equivalent to 10 destructive dragon scales, which could increase the combat power of the destructive ghost dragon by 10%. Could it be that the Ling family wanted to move away because of this tens of thousands of years ago? The sect leader of the Green Feather sect happened to be the chief of the Black Dragon sect. It seemed that the Ling family would not be able to escape. Father, the Ling family is not weak. Even if the sect leader wants to destroy us, he will have to be prepared to suffer heavy losses. Why don't we fight it out with them? Ling Kai's father, Ling Mutian, said. No. Ling Xiong immediately said, if the two sides fight, we will be the ones to die. What's the benefit of doing that? Quick, use the messenger token to inform the deputy sect leader. The Ling family was under the command of the Green Feather sect's deputy sect leader, Spiritual Heart Spiritual Master. Now that the Ling family was facing a great disaster, it would not make sense for Spiritual Heart Spiritual Master to cultivate in seclusion. Father, Master is now focused on developing a new puppet. I have sent him many messages, but he has not responded. Ling Muyun said. Try again. He might have seen it, but he has no time to care about you. Ling Xiong said. Ling Muyun immediately sent a message to Spiritual Heart Spiritual Master in front of everyone. However, he still did not get a reply. This time, the Ling family was in trouble. They were like a turtle in a jar. Don't worry, the deputy sect leader has many subordinates. They will help us. It is precisely because of this that the sect master does not dare to act rashly. Ling Xiong calmed down and said. Taoist Ling Xian had accepted 6 disciples before Ling Muyun. These 6 people were not weak. The weakest was a rank 3 true master, while the strongest was a peak rank 4 true master. As for the Cyan Feather sect master, he was only a peak rank 5 Taoist. If they were to truly fight, both parties would definitely end up seriously injured. Furthermore, Taoist Spirit Heart was even more powerful than the Azure Feather sect master. If he were to return and find out about this matter, he would definitely not spare the Azure Feather sect master. When Yi Xian heard the conversation, he also felt that the situation was a little serious. However, with his current strength he should be able to help. He was now a rank 1 half-step Enlightened Master while the Old Tree and the others were rank 5 half-step Enlightened Masters. If they were to really fight, the heaven-breaking ape god and the others would be enough to mess up the entire battle. However, right at this moment, another person suddenly landed outside and walked in. It's the sect leader's first disciple, Wen Tianrui. Everyone immediately recognized him. Why was the sect master's eldest disciple here at this time? Ling family. Master said that he would give you one last chance. Hand over the Dragon Bone of Destruction, and your Ling family can continue to stay in the Azure Feather sect. Otherwise, don't blame us for being ruthless. When Tianrui said, "It's just a Dragon Bone of Destruction and you want to kill us?" Ling Xiong said angrily, "You said it yourself. It's just a Dragon Bone of Destruction. Why do you have to make the two families unhappy?" When Tianrui said, Ling Muyun immediately stood out and said, "Don't be too arrogant. My Ling family is under my master, not the sect master. When my master returns..." Before he could finish, when Tianrui interrupted him, "Since your Ling family has been suppressed until now, has he ever appeared?" This sentence indeed left Ling Muyun speechless. Taoist Spirit Heart had not been heard from since he left. It was unknown whether he had received a message or met with an accident, but he had already died. Master didn't make a move because he saw that your Ling family was good and wanted to subdue you. Therefore, Master is giving you one more chance. As long as you obediently hand over the Dragon Bone of Destruction and submit to my master, your Ling family will be fine. When Tianrui continued. This time, everyone in the Ling family fell silent. Wen Tianrui, are you trying to destroy my master's forces one by one? Suddenly, a voice sounded. Then, 6 people walked in from outside. These 6 people were all Taoist Spirit Heart's disciples. Damn it! Wen Tianrui's expression changed when he saw the 6 people. Previously, they had purposely leaked the news to let the Ling family know and then directly came to force the Ling family to compromise. Unexpectedly, these 6 people also knew about this matter. Ling Xiong, don't worry. The 6 of us will advance and retreat with you, the leading middle-aged man said. With these 6 people and the Ling family, Vice Sect Master Spirit Heart's faction was not afraid of the sect master of the Azure Feather sect. Seeing that his plan had failed, when Tianrui could only say, "If we start a war, no one will benefit. In that case, I will take a step back." What? Ling Xiong was shocked. The sect master actually took a step back. This meant that he did not want to have a falling out with them. "I propose that we have a bet with the Dragon Bone as the wager. If we win, you have to hand over the Dragon Bone. If we lose, we will take out the Dragon Scale. What do you think?" Wen Tianrui said. Hearing this, the Ling family members couldn't help but look at each other. Bet. Using the Dragon Bone and Dragon Scale as the wager? There is one thing I don't understand. Why does the sect master insist on taking the Dragon Bone from my Ling family? Ling Xiong said, "My Dragon Bone is equivalent to 12 Dragon Scales. Is the sect master just trying to comprehend the World Annihilation attack faster?" The World Annihilation attack was the strange energy that people comprehended from the World Annihilation Dragon Scale and Dragon Bone. It could increase their attack power. The Dragon Bone's comprehension speed was much faster than the Dragon Scale, so it was much more valuable. Under normal circumstances, one would not be able to exchange for 10 Dragon Bones, so it would be 1 to 12. After all, between 10 Dragon Bones and 10 Dragon Scales, everyone would choose the former. If they wanted to exchange for the Dragon Bone, they naturally had to add more points. You don't need to worry about why my master needs the World Annihilation Dragon Bone. Similarly, if you are willing to take out the World Annihilation Dragon Bone, my master will definitely take out 12 World Annihilation Dragon Scales to exchange for it, Wen Tianrui said. There must be something fishy about this. Chapter 1823. All right. Tell me, how do we do it? Ling Xiong asked. Wen Tianrui answered without hesitation. There are 3 rounds. In the first round, each side will send out 10 people to kill each other. The first one to die will be the loser. You can't be a perfected person for this round. In the second round, you will choose a third-rank perfected person to fight with your puppets. The side that destroys all 100 puppets will be the loser. In the third round, each side will send out one person to fight. There's no realm requirement. Everyone in the Ling family felt that it was unfair. The third round is obviously unfair. Ling Muyun said. The sect master was a 5th-rank perfected person. Who could win against him? Don't worry. My master won't fight. You can't be a 4th-rank perfected person. Wen Tianrui said. If that was the case, then the Ling family's patriarch, Ling Xiong, could fight. It seemed that the 3 rounds were relatively fair. All right. Our Ling family will accept. When will the battle be? Ling Xiong asked. 3 days later. Wen Tianrui said. All right, 3 days from now then. Ling Xiong immediately agreed. Wen Tianrui then left. The battle in 3 days was very important. The Ling family couldn't lose. I'll fight the second round in 3 days. I'm as good as Wen Tianrui in controlling puppets. Ling Muyun said. He was the disciple of Spiritual Heart Enlightened and the most talented one. He was also a 3rd-rank perfected person like Wen Tianrui, so it was best for him to fight the second round. There was no suspense in the third round. The Ling family's patriarch, Ling Xiong, would fight the third round. After all, he was the only 4th-rank perfected person in the Ling family. As for the first round, it would need to be carefully selected. Then, Ling Muyun introduced Yi Xian to Spiritual Heart Enlightened's 6 disciples. Greetings, senior brothers. Yi Xian hurriedly greeted them. Good. Junior brother, you're able to learn the drill of 100 machines at your current realm. You're not inferior to us. However, Master is still in seclusion to create new puppets. You can only formally become his disciple when he returns. The middle-aged man in the lead said. Yes. Yi Xian nodded. Of course, he wasn't interested in becoming Spiritual Heart Enlightened's disciple. This time, he came in to investigate the matter. Now, the investigation was almost done. However, he still wanted to see what would happen next. 3 days later, he would be able to break through again. At that time, Old Tree and the others would have a qualitative leap in strength. Then, who else among the half-step enlightened masters could be a match for the Old Tree? Therefore, he decided to help the Ling clan. After that, Yi Xian stayed at the Ling family's residence and waited for the battle that would be held 3 days later. During these 3 days, Taoist Spirit Heart still did not reply. It was unknown whether it was because he had fallen or because he was so engrossed in developing new puppets that he did not notice. In any case, the Ling family had to rely on themselves to get through this crisis. Very soon, the day of the battle arrived. Coincidentally, Yi Xian and the rest had also broken through. Yi Xian had reached 2nd stage half-step True Sage, while the Old Tree, World-Destroying Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Divine Ape had all reached 6th stage half-step True Sage. As for Luo Luo, due to the large amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, she had always been one realm ahead. At this time, the Ling clan had already led their experts and Taoist Spirit Heart's 6 disciples to the Blue Feather Sect's martial arts field. Before that, the Blue Feather Sect's sect master and his subordinates had also arrived. Sect master, must we go to this extent? Ling Xiong couldn't help but ask when he saw the sect master. Nonsense, don't ask anymore. If you can hand over the dragon bone, then today might be the day you fall. The Blue Feather Sect's sect master coldly snorted. In that case, let's fight. Ling Xiong's battle intent surged. How do you guys want to fight the first battle? When Tianrui suddenly asked. You and I will go first. Ling Muyun suddenly stepped onto the stage. This battle would be a battle between puppets at the level of 3rd stage True Sage. There would not be any casualties on either side. Moreover, the first battle was extremely important and would affect the morale of the rest. All right. When Tianrui did not waste any time and directly stood on the martial arts field. Ling Muyun also leaped and jumped onto the field. This was a battle between puppets. Both of them could only control the puppets and could not participate in the battle themselves. Moreover, there was a limit of 100 puppets. If all 100 puppets were destroyed, they would lose. Let's begin. Ling Xiong yelled. In the next moment, a large number of puppets appeared on the martial arts field. There were exactly 200 of them. Ling Muyun was using the strengthened spiritual heart puppet of Spiritual Heart Sage, which was the most powerful puppet in the Blue Feather sect. When Wen Tianrui suggested this, Ling Muyun thought that he wanted to see who was more proficient in controlling the puppets. However, this was not the case. This time, Wen Tianrui did not use the spiritual heart puppet, but a black puppet. This is strange. Why is the young sect master not using the spiritual heart puppet? What kind of puppet is this? Why have I never heard of it? Is it a newly developed puppet? It looks very powerful. The disciples below the stage began to discuss among themselves. Ling Muyun's expression changed when he saw the puppet. He suddenly thought of something. Ling Xiong's expression turned ugly as he said, "Is this a world-destroying puppet fighter?" The world-destroying puppet fighter was a puppet that had fused with the world-destroying dragon scale. Its defense was extremely strong and its attack was accompanied by a world-destroying attack. This kind of puppet could fight 3 spiritual heart puppets at once. Now that there were 100 world-destroying puppet fighters, how could they fight? It's over. It's over. Muyun is going to lose this round. The Ling family members thought at the same time. Not only that, but Ling Muyun also thought the same. Haha, you didn't expect this, right? There are only 100 world-destroying puppet fighters in the entire Blue Feather sect. Ling Muyun, if you know what's good for you, go down yourself. Wen Tianrui laughed out loud. Don't even think about it. Ling Muyun's eyes widened. Since he was inferior in terms of equipment, he would fight for it in terms of technique. His 100 puppet fighter was definitely better than Wen Tianrui's. In an instant, the 100 spiritual heart puppets on the stage moved out in full force. They formed an assault formation and charged toward the world-destroying puppet fighters. Assault formation? Child's play. Wen Tianrui snorted and immediately controlled the 100 world-destroying puppet fighters to meet the spiritual heart puppets head-on. Although the world-destroying puppet fighters would definitely win in a melee battle, each of the world-destroying puppet fighters was expensive. Wen Tianrui would be distressed if they were destroyed. Therefore, he used a more conservative defensive formation. Crack! 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 The puppets on both sides began to fight. However, more than a dozen spiritual heart puppets were destroyed in just one wave of attacks. On the other hand, Wen Tianrui's side did not have a single one. The gap was widened in an instant. 100 versus 100. One side did not lose a single puppet, while the other side lost a puppet. Chapter 1824. No, I can't lose this battle. Ling Muyun's face darkened. The first battle was very important and affected the morale of the team. If he lost this battle, he would be under a lot of pressure in the next battle. However, even though his 100 machine drill was better than Wen Tianrui and he could use more battle formations, he still couldn't make up for the difference in puppets. Even if it wasn't Wen Tianrui controlling the world-destroying puppet, but a second-stage true master, he would still be able to defeat the spiritual core puppets. Ling Muyun was bound to lose this battle. In the blink of an eye, more than 30 spiritual core puppets were destroyed, leaving only 60 puppets. Muyun, come down. Ling Xiong suddenly said from below the stage. The members of the Ling family were also sighing. This time, their Ling family was truly helpless. No, I won't admit defeat. Ling Muyun had lost his head. Even if he lost 100 spiritual core puppets, he wouldn't admit defeat. No matter what, the outcome of this battle was already decided. The Ling family couldn't win. I didn't expect the world-destroying puppet to be so powerful. Elder Ling lost so thoroughly. A disciple of the Green Feather sect said. The battle was over. Ling Muyun's 100 spiritual core puppets were all destroyed. Wen Tianrui didn't lose any of his puppets. Wen Tianrui won this battle. Muyun, don't blame yourself. We fell into their trap, Ling Xiong comforted. Indeed, the sect leader of the Green Feather sect came prepared and hid the world-destroying puppet. Otherwise, Ling Muyun would have a higher chance of winning. Father, what should we do in the next battle? They have the world-destroying puppet. If it's a battle of 10, I'm afraid. Ling Mutian said worriedly. No, that's not necessarily true. Ling Xiong shook his head. The world-destroying puppet can't be controlled by an ordinary person. It's already difficult to control a low-level spiritual core puppet before reaching the true master realm. It's impossible to control the world-destroying puppet. Then, father, don't participate in this battle, Ling Mutian said. Ling Xiong was the only fourth-stage true master in the Ling family. If he died, the Ling family wouldn't be qualified to challenge the sect leader. Therefore, the younger generation would go up. In these 3 days, the Ling clan had already chosen 10 Ling clan disciples to fight. All of them were geniuses with hundreds of machines. As for the Green Feather sect, they had probably sent a half-step Taoist master as well. If the sect leader won this time, the Ling family would lose a dragon bone of annihilation. On the other hand, if the Ling clan won, they could still fight another round. However, right at this moment, Senior, can you give me a spot? At this time, Yi Xian suddenly asked Ling Xiong. What? Ling Xiong suspected that he had misheard. Junior brother, do you have a better candidate? Ling Muyun asked. Yes, and we have 100% chance of winning this match. Yi Xian nodded solemnly. Really? Really? Hearing this answer, the Ling family members found it hard to believe. Yi Xian was only a second-stage half-step Taoist master. What kind of genius could he know? Then call him over to take a look. Ling Xiong nodded. All right. With that, Yi Xian quickly left the Green Feather sect and summoned the old tree outside. Although the old tree was only a 6th-stage half-step Taoist master, his actual combat strength was probably comparable to a 3rd-stage Taoist master. Even if when Tian Rui made a move, he would probably be able to kill him. Could it be that he couldn't win this match? Actually, Yi Xian could already directly attack the sect leader, but he just wanted to watch a good show. Soon, he brought the old tree to the Ling family members. You're talking about him? Ling Xiong stared at the old tree in disbelief. A 6th-stage half-step Taoist master? What the hell? Senior, don't worry. This friend of mine has killed a 3rd-stage Taoist master before. With him here, we'll definitely win this match. Yi Xian said solemnly. Even so, the Ling family members didn't believe him. A 6th-stage half-step Taoist master killing a 3rd-stage Taoist master? What kind of joke was this? If you don't believe me, one of you can come up and try. Yi Xian said again. No need. I'll choose him. Ling Xiong suddenly said. This time, the Ling family members were all shocked. Father? Ling Mutian shouted. How could the head of the family believe such a lie so easily? Although Yi Xian was Spiritual Heart Taoist's 10th disciple, who knew if he was sent by the sect leader? What if it was a trap? An innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth. Ling Xiong sighed. Even if we win this match, the sect leader won't let us go. It's better to just hand over the dragon bone and leave the Green Feather sect. This way, our Ling family can continue to live on. Father, don't you still have a match? Ling Mutian asked. Ling Xiong shook his head. No. Look at the person beside the sect leader. As far as I know, he's the leader of the 7 freaks of Mount Hong. Although he's only a 4th-stage Taoist master, he's been a 5th-stage Taoist master for more than 100,000 years. As for me, I only broke through recently. Although I have a dragon bone of destruction, it's useless. The leader of the 7 freaks of Mount Hong? Hearing this, the Ling family members couldn't help but look at the red-haired middle-aged man beside the sect leader. TSK. 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 You guys already found out? The red-haired middle-aged man grinned and said to Ling Xiong, if you guys lose this match, I don't need to fight anymore. What do you think? The Ling family members were silent. Since they were going to lose, why not just surrender? If that's the case, why don't you just hand over the dragon bone? Suddenly, someone said. Everyone turned around and found that it was Spiritual Heart Taoist's 3rd disciple, a 3rd-stage Taoist master. 3rd junior brother, could it be that you? Spiritual Heart Taoist's eldest disciple looked at him in shock. That's right. I've already surrendered to the sect leader. You guys can't win today's match no matter what. Spiritual Heart Taoist's 3rd disciple nodded. Everyone sucked in a breath of air. They didn't expect that there would be someone from the sect leader in their camp. If they really fought, it would be very fatal. Ling Xiong was also silent. Even if they won this match, he wouldn't be able to defeat the leader of the 7 freaks of Mount Hong. Since they were going to lose anyway, Why let the Ling family members fight and put them in danger? All right. Ling Xiong sighed again and nodded slightly. When everyone saw this, they knew that Ling Xiong had made his decision. At this time, Yi Xian spoke again. If that's the case, why don't you let this friend of mine fight alone? What? When the Ling family members heard this, they looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. A 6th-stage half-step Taoist master wanted to fight against 10 9th-stage half-step Taoist masters? Young man, are you serious? Ling Xiong asked in disbelief. Don't worry. I won't joke about my life. Old Tree also spoke. Chapter 1825. Seeing Yi Xian and Old Tree's solemn expressions, Ling Xiong nodded and said, All right, I agree. The crowd was also confused by Yi Xian. They had only known Yi Xian for 3 days, but Yi Xian's confidence didn't seem to be fake. They were already prepared to surrender, but Yi Xian still insisted on sending this bald old man. Could it be that Yi Xian wasn't one of the sect master's people? After obtaining Ling Xiong's agreement, Old Tree's figure flickered and jumped onto the training field. His action puzzled everyone present. What is he doing? A 6th-stage half-step venerable master is going on stage? Strange. If he wants to fight one-on-one, shouldn't Elder Ling Xiong be the one to fight? Perhaps he has something to say. The Blue Feather Sect's disciples looked on in confusion. Ling Xiong, what do you mean by this? Asked the sect master. 10 half-step venerable masters. We will only send one person, said Ling Xiong. Once these words were spoken, the entire place fell silent. Was this a joke? At this time, Taoist Spirit Heart's 3rd disciple transmitted a message to the sect master. After hearing it, the sect master couldn't help but snort coldly. What kind of nobody dares to go on stage and kill a 3rd-stage venerable? What a joke. Whatever. Send someone up and deal with him. Hearing this, a 9th-stage half-step venerable master immediately jumped onto the stage. Please. Old Tree said calmly to this Blue Feather Sect's disciple. You're courting death. This Blue Feather Sect's disciple originally didn't want to go up, but since the sect master was the one who spoke, this was an opportunity for him to perform. In his opinion, he didn't even need to use a puppet to deal with a 6th-stage half-step venerable master. He could easily kill him. However, he didn't know that he had kicked an iron plate this time. When his figure flickered, Old Tree also moved. The latter's nether flame clone instantly appeared in front of the Blue Feather Sect's disciple. Bang! With a muffled sound, the Blue Feather Sect's disciple's chest was pierced through by Old Tree. Immediately, flames spread out and burned the Blue Feather Sect's disciple's corpse to ashes. Instant kill. The entire place was silent. Many people doubted whether their eyes were playing tricks on them. A 9th-stage half-step Taoist master disciple was actually killed by someone 3 stages above him. Furthermore, it was an instant kill. How was this possible? The sect leader of the Green Feather Sect and the Ling family were all dumbfounded. The Ling family won the 2nd battle? Senior, I was right, wasn't I? I will definitely win this match for you. Yi Xian suddenly said. Ling Xiong still hadn't recovered from the shock and only nodded slightly. Yi Xian was right. Could it be that this bald old man really had the strength to kill a rank 3 true sage? Of course, being able to instantly kill a rank 9 half-step Taoist did not mean that he could kill a rank 3 true Taoist. After all, the difference in strength between a rank 9 half-step Taoist and a rank 3 true Taoist was thousands of times greater. But then again, this battle was originally a 10 versus 10 battle. Now that it had become a 1 versus 1 battle, it definitely counted. Damn it, useless trash. The sect master of the Blue Feather Sect cursed. Although the Ling family won the first battle, the result was still the same. The Ling family members also thought of this point. So what if the bald old man could kill a rank 3 true sage? Could it be that he could win the 3rd battle for them? In the 3rd battle, they would have to face the leader of the Hongshan's 7 freaks, a peak rank 4 true sage. Even Ling Xiong couldn't defeat him. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly grinned and said, Senior, why don't you send my men for the 3rd battle? What? The Ling family members were shocked again. Yi Xian, could it be that you have a way to win this battle? Young man, could it be that you? Ling Xiong transmitted his voice in shock. Senior, don't worry. I have 100% chance. Yi Xian replied with a smile. 100% chance. Ling Xiong was so shocked that he couldn't speak. If he were to go, he wouldn't even have a 10% chance of winning. Could it be that Yi Xian had a helper? Alright, you go. Ling Xiong immediately nodded in agreement. No, it's not me. It's him. Yi Xian shook his head. Suddenly, a cute little armored monkey jumped out from his arms and jumped onto the martial arts field. A little monkey was going to face the leader of the Hongshan's 7 freaks? The Ling family members imagined a scene. A little monkey beating the leader of the Hongshan's 7 freaks beyond recognition. How ridiculous was that? In any case, Ling Xiong wouldn't go up. If Yi Xian wasn't there, they were all prepared to surrender. It didn't matter who went up. Ling Xiong, you still want to fight the third battle? The sect master of the Qingyu sect asked. Yes, the one going up is this little monkey. Ling Xiong nodded. As soon as he said that, the face of the leader of the Hongshan 7 freaks sank. He angrily rebuked, "What kind of joke is this? You want me to fight a monkey? If you guys don't go up, then Patian will win?" Yi Xian suddenly smiled. Humph. The red-haired middle-aged man coldly snorted. Although he was unwilling, he had promised the sect master of the Qingyu sect that he would win this battle. As such, he could only brace himself and go up. Don't be careless. I'm afraid there is something fishy. The sect master of the Qingyu sect's face suddenly darkened as he sent a message to the red-haired middle-aged man. A little monkey that hasn't even reached the immortal realm. What's fishy? The red-haired middle-aged man coldly snorted and then landed on the stage. This battle was related to the survival of the Ling family. If the Ling family could win, then it would be fun. However, before the red-haired man could stabilize himself, the sky-splitting godly ape transformed into a beam of light and charged towards him. Heaven-startling 108 strikes. The sky-splitting godly ape took out its weapon and smashed it towards the red-haired man. What? The red-haired man was shocked. Was this the speed of a 6th-stage immortal beast that was half a step into the immortal realm? What a joke! Luo Luo, who was a 9th-stage demon emperor, instantly killed the 6th-stage demon revered 5-clawed golden dragon tribe's genius, Tang Qingshan. At that time, the sky-splitting godly ape played with Luo Luo with its 7th-stage demon emperor realm. Now, the sky-splitting godly ape had become Yi Xian's pet. Its combat power had doubled. With the mystic divine armor, its combat power had reached an unparalleled level. 4th-stage immortal realm? Courting death. Bang! In an instant, the red-haired man was smashed into minced meat by the sky-splitting godly ape. He died immediately. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification rang out, the corners of Yi Xian's mouth could not help but curl up slightly. The Ling family had won the third battle. However, the reason why he had waited until now was because he wanted to watch a good show. He did not expect that he would not be able to watch a good show. Since that was the case, he had to get down to business. Patian, kill the sect master of the Qingyu sect. At that moment, Yi Xian ordered the sky-splitting godly ape. After receiving the order, the sky-splitting godly ape immediately glanced at the sect master of the Qingyu sect. Chapter 1826. Not good. The sect master of the Green Feather sect, who was still in shock, paled when he saw that the sky-splitting divine ape had locked onto him. In an instant, he took out a puppet from his interspatial ring. It was another world-destroying puppet fighter. However, this one was much better than one Tianrui's. This was because the world-destroying dragon bone was fused with the puppet instead of the world-destroying dragon scale. Bang! The world-destroying puppet fighter blocked the sky-splitting divine ape's 108 strikes. What a strong defense! The Ling family members finally understood why the sect master of the Green Feather sect coveted the dragon bone and was willing to trade the world-destroying dragon scale for it. It turned out that it was because of this world-destroying puppet fighter. However, could the sect master of the Green Feather sect block the sky-splitting divine ape with this world-destroying puppet fighter? At this moment, stop! Suddenly, a loud shout entered everyone's ears. The sky-splitting divine ape stopped in its tracks. The surrounding people turned around and saw a figure in the sky. It's the Vice Sect Master. Those with discerning eyes immediately recognized him. The Vice Sect Master of the Green Feather sect was Spiritual Master Spiritual Heart, who was also Yi Xian's master in name. Of course, Spiritual Heart couldn't make the sky-splitting divine ape stop. The sky-splitting divine ape had stopped because Yi Xian had stopped it. Yi Xian had not only heard Spiritual Heart's voice, but also a system notification. Ding! Host has triggered a random mission. Kill the sect master of the Green Feather Sect. This was the real reason why Yi Xian had stopped. If the sect master of the Green Feather Sect died under the sky-splitting divine ape strikes, this random mission would not be completed. Killing meant that the system wanted to let the sect master of the Green Feather Sect leave. Yi Xian was only a second-stage half-step true master. He would have no problem dealing with an 8th-stage true master, but a 9th-stage true master would be difficult. However, the sect master of the Green Feather Sect was a 5th-stage true master, which was 12 stages higher than Yi Xian. Fortunately, Yi Xian had helpers, so this mission should be easy. Yi Xian suddenly thought of something and hurriedly ordered the sky-breaking ape god, "Kill that one Tianrui." The heaven-breaking divine ape received the new order and immediately changed its target. 108 strikes of the stick. Wen Tianrui, who was only a rank 3 true sage, was smashed to death. At the same time, the old tree dashed over and took the interspatial ring. There were 100 world-destroying puppet fighters in this interspatial ring, which was equivalent to 100 world-destroying dragon scales. Of course, whether or not he could separate the apocalyptic dragon scale from the puppet was still a problem. But, let's take it first. In the sky, Daoist Spirit Heart glanced at the heaven-splitting divine ape below and couldn't help but feel somewhat afraid. Before he could react, the heaven-splitting divine ape attacked again. This time around, it attacked the Cyan Feather Sect's sect master. Although there was a random mission, the heaven-splitting divine ape did not intend to kill the sect master of the Green Feather Sect this time. Bang! With a muffled sound, the sect master of the Green Feather Sect's arm was broken into two. At the same time, his body was sent flying and separated from the world-destroying puppet fighter in front of him. Then, the old tree flashed over again and put away the world-destroying puppet fighter. The 101 world-destroying puppet fighters were a large amount of strength for the world-destroying ghostly dragon. Daoist Spirit Heart was originally a little angry. After all, the heaven-breaking divine ape had ignored his words. However, the heaven-breaking divine ape could easily send the sect master of the Green Feather Sect flying. Moreover, he could see that the heaven-breaking divine ape had held back. Otherwise, the sect master of the Green Feather Sect would have become a corpse. Therefore he couldn't say much. "Senior brother, I didn't expect you to develop the dragon bone puppet fighter before me," Daoist Spirit Heart exclaimed. The senior brother he was referring to was the sect master of the Green Feather Sect. At this moment, the sect master of the Green Feather Sect got up from the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood and said, "So what? This time I lost." When Daoist Spirit Heart heard this, he turned to look at Yi Xian and said, "Your Excellency, can you give him a way out and let him go?" He had learned the details from Ling Muyun's message. However, the sect master of the Green Feather Sect was his senior brother after all. "All right." Yi Xian nodded and agreed without hesitation. After all, the random mission asked him to secretly kill the sect master of the Green Feather Sect. Therefore, he naturally had to let him go. "Thank you, Your Excellency." Daoist Spirit Heart thanked him and said, "Senior brother, you can leave now. Don't come back." "Okay, let's go." The sect master of the Green Feather Sect was straightforward. He knew that if the heaven-breaking divine ape had used all its strength, he would have been smashed into meat paste like when Tianrui and the red-haired man. Therefore, he turned around and left without bringing anyone with him. The winner takes all. Daoist Spirit Heart had already done him a great favor by letting him go. In that case, the Green Feather Sect would belong to Daoist Spirit Heart. Yi Xian did not care about this. He had already marked the sect master of the Green Feather Sect with the death warrant. No matter where he ran to, he would definitely die. After the sect master of the Green Feather Sect left, the people present regained their senses. They had to admit that what had happened today was too ridiculous. The sect master of the Green Feather Sect, who was originally confident of victory, was suddenly attacked by someone. Not only was he caught off guard, but he was also thoroughly defeated. What was the background of Yi Xian and that bald old man? Furthermore, why did that little monkey have such powerful combat strength? At this moment, Ling Muyun suddenly transmitted a message to Daoist Spirit Heart, saying that Yi Xian had actually learned the drill of 100 machines and was here to become his disciple. Daoist Spirit Heart was shocked when he heard this news. "Damn, it's my disciple? What a joke." Yi Xian already had the strength to kill him. Would he still dare to accept Yi Xian as his disciple? Nonsense. Young friend Yi Xian, thank you so much this time. After the sect master of the Green Feather sect left, Ling Xiong couldn't help but cup his fists to Yi Xian. It's fine. Yi Xian waved his hand. Of course, he was also thinking that instead of thanking him, he might as well take out something as a reward. If it was the Dragon Bone of Devastation, that would be even better. The Ling clan was also very grateful to Yi Xian, even though Daoist Spirit Heart would arrive at the end of the day. However, the sect master might attack the Ling clan the moment the Dragon Bone was handed over. After all, when Tian Rui had previously said that the Ling clan should hand over the Dragon Bone and submit to the sect master, the Ling clan could not do the latter, as that would be ungrateful. The Ling clan had some relationship with Yi Xian, so Yi Xian decided not to fight over the Dragon Bone. Although the matter had come to an end, Yi Xian was prepared to stay in the Green Feather sect for a day or two. On the surface, he had let go of the Green Feather sect's sect master, but secretly he still wanted to kill him. If the old tree and the little monkey were not around, they would definitely be suspected. Thus, this mission could only be left to Wei Zhantian and Luo Luo. Yi Xian found an opportunity to release Wei Zhantian and Luo Luo, and then let them carry out the mission. Chapter 1827. A day later. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Yi Xian, who was in the Green Feather sect, suddenly heard a system notification. Luo Luo's voice immediately followed. Young master, the mission is complete. Well done. Yi Xian replied via sound transmission. In the next moment, the second system notification sounded. Ding! Host has completed a random mission. The system rewards you with unlocking the second immortal bloodline physique. This reward made Yi Xian extremely happy. This random mission actually rewarded him with 4 Devour points for the immortal bloodline physique. It was a huge gain. It seemed that Yi Xian could finally obtain a second immortal bloodline physique. Although I'm quite strong now, with the old tree and the others around, I don't have a foothold at all. If I'm going to strengthen myself, I might as well strengthen them. Yi Xian thought to himself as he searched the immortal level Devour system. There were so many bloodlines that Yi Xian was dazzled. However, there were not many bloodlines that were related to beasts. You're the one, Divine Beast Ambassador. In the end, Yi Xian's gaze fell on a Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline. Ding! Host has fused with the Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline. The Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline was a bloodline that specialized in enhancing beasts. Although it belonged to Yi Xian, it greatly increased the beast's combat power. The Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline was an advancement path that directly doubled the beast's combat power and growth speed. It also had the ability to fuse with specific beasts. In addition, if there were any beasts around the master could increase his combat power. 1 beast would increase his combat power by 20%. 2 beasts would increase his combat power by 40%. Now, Yi Xian had the old tree, Megatron, Yi Xian, and Luo Luo. If they worked together, Yi Xian's combat power would be doubled. Moreover, the 5 beasts would also have an effect. In addition to the initial double, it would increase his combat power by 2 times. Lastly, there was a title quest for the Divine Beast Ambassador. As long as one obtained this title, the Beast Ambassador's combat power would be doubled, and everyone's damage towards beasts would be tripled. Although Yi Xian had the Immortal Eye Unicorn bloodline, he was the only one who had the bonus damage to beasts. However, if he obtained the title of Divine Beast Trainer, then Old Tree and the others would also have an effect. In this way, the monsters would be able to increase their battle prowess by 3 times, which was simply terrifying. Of course, what Yi Xian looked forward to the most was the ability to combine with the monsters. Damn it! Of the 5 monsters, only the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon can fuse with me. Yi Xian looked a little helpless. However, he was very curious about what form he would take after he merged with the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, and how powerful he would become. Now, the sect master of the Green Feather sect had already been dealt with by Luo Luo and Wei Zhantian. This time, their harvest was not small as they had obtained more than 40 dragon scales. Immediately, Yi Xian handed the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon scales to the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon. After fusing with the dragon scales, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's combat power had increased by more than 100%. However, what surprised Yi Xian was that after the 100% increase, it actually required 5 dragon scales to increase its combat power by 1%. In simple terms, to increase the combat power from 100% to 200%, it would require 500 dragon scales or 50 dragon bones. Forget it. Now, it's easier for me to obtain dragon scales. Each time, the quantity is not small. If there is no limit, it will be a little too much. Yi Xian was very calm. Next, he asked the Celestial Level Devouring System to analyze the 100 World Devastator puppets and the Dragon Bone puppet. Ding! Would the host like to separate them? Yes. He did not expect the Celestial Level Devouring System to be able to separate the World Devastator Dragon Bone and the World Devastator Dragon Scales from the puppet after fusing with them. This was not bad. 100 World Devastator Dragon Scales and 1 World Devastator Dragon Bone could increase the combat power of the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon by 22%. This was not bad. The current combat power of the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon is about the same as the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. When I merge with the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, I wonder how terrifying my combat power will be. Yi Xian was looking forward to it. At this moment, he was already preparing to leave. Wei Zhentian had already searched the Green Feather Sect leader's soul. His superior, Yi Xian, was also aware of this. However, before this, Yi Xian wanted to complete the Imperial Beast Messenger title first. I'll wait for a few more days. I'll make my move after the breakthrough. Yi Xian thought to himself. A few days later. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. The host is now a 3rd-grade half-step immortal. Ding! The World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Yanming Ghostly Lord, and Sky-Breaking Divine Ape have made a breakthrough. The host is now a 7th-grade half-step immortal. At this moment, Yi Xian was preparing to leave. The Green Feather Sect had also undergone many changes. The sect leader had left and Spiritual Master Ling Xin, the vice-sect leader, had become the official sect leader. In the future, the Green Feather Sect would become more prosperous under his leadership. However, just as Yi Xian was preparing to leave quietly. Senior, please wait. Suddenly, someone called out to Yi Xian. Yi Xian heard the voice and turned his head to look. He found that the person was Ling Muyun. Ling Muyun used to be Yi Xian's senior brother. However, after the bet battle, he no longer dared to call Yi Xian his junior brother. In his opinion, Yi Xian was a reclusive expert or someone with a powerful background. Otherwise, how could he have such a powerful helper? What's the matter? Yi Xian asked in surprise. Senior, are you leaving? Ling Muyun asked. Yes. Yi Xian nodded. Then, Ling Muyun took out something from his interspatial ring. It was something that caught Yi Xian's interest. The Dragon Bone of Annihilation? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. What was Ling Muyun trying to do with the Dragon Bone of Annihilation that belonged to the Ling family? Senior, my father asked me to bring this to you. Ling Muyun said. Give it to me. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. To be honest, he wanted to accept it very much. However, the Dragon Bone of Annihilation could only increase the strength of the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon by 2%. However, it was a priceless treasure to the Green Feather Sect. It could allow them to grow quickly. This thing is useless to me. Take it back. Yi Xian shook his head and left. Ling Muyun was stunned. The previous incident was caused by the Dragon Bone of Annihilation. However, Yi Xian only glanced at it. He was indeed an expert. Under other circumstances, Yi Xian would definitely accept the Dragon Bone of Annihilation if someone gave it to him. However, the Ling family was related to Spiritual Heart Venerable, and he came to the Holy World through Spiritual Heart Venerable's ruins. Hence, he decided to forget about it. A Dragon Bone of Annihilation was only worth 10 Dragon Scales of Annihilation. The Green Feather Sect Master had several Black Dragon Sect branches under him. If he robbed them, it would not be a problem for him to get dozens of Dragon Scales. Chapter 1828. Yi Xian didn't plan to loot the branches. Instead, he planned to find a place to complete the mission for the title of Divine Beast Envoy. The mission required him to kill 10,000 Sage-level immortal beasts, and they couldn't be of the same species. Although it seemed simple, it wasn't. Fortunately, Yi Xian had several helpers, so he should only need a little time to complete the mission. Of course, Yi Xian didn't want to waste time, so he sent Old Tree on his way. This way, he could complete the mission while looting the branches of the Black Dragon sect. The minimum requirement for the mission was a rank 1 sage-level immortal beast. Thus, Yi Xian didn't need to find rank 5 or rank 6 sage-level immortal beasts. He randomly found a dangerous area and killed his way in. 10, 100, 1,000. In just one day, Yi Xian destroyed the dangerous area. When he left, there wasn't a single sage-level immortal beast left. During this time, Old Tree also arrived at a branch of the Black Dragon sect. Yi Xian immediately tore through the void and went there. With his current strength, he could easily destroy these branches. However, these branches' world-destroying dragon scales had been handed over to the sect master of the Green Feather sect. The sect master of the Green Feather sect had also handed them over to his superiors. Thus, he didn't gain much. After destroying several branches, the world-destroying ghost dragon's battle prowess only increased by 5%. However, this wasn't bad. After all, the current 5% was equivalent to the previous 25%. In a few days, the mission for the Divine Beast Envoy was about to be completed. He only needed to kill 300 more immortal beasts to complete the mission. At this time, Yi Xian had killed his way from a low-level sage level to a mid-level sage level dangerous area. There were immortal beasts comparable to rank 4, rank 5, and rank 6 sage level immortal beasts. However, just as Yi Xian was about to complete the mission, roar! Suddenly, a roar resounded through the sky and entered Yi Xian's ears. Yi Xian immediately turned his head to look and saw a black figure madly running towards him. The ground shook violently because of this large figure. Is this a wingless black dragon? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. He estimated that this black dragon's strength was around that of a 5th stage true sage. However, beasts were much easier to deal with compared to humans for Yi Xian. Luoluo, kill it! Yi Xian immediately gave Luoluo the order. Wearing the mystic divine battle armor, Luoluo's battle prowess was also very strong. After all, she was already an 8th stage half-step true person. Coincidentally, there were already 9,999 types of missions for the title of Master Beast Envoy. He only needed one more beast bloodline to complete the mission. In the past, Yi Xian had always killed whoever he saw. He would not look for different bloodlines. However, he was certain that this strange black dragon without wings was definitely one of them. Soon, Luoluo and the black dragon began to fight. Surprisingly, Luoluo's attacks were only able to cause light injuries to the black dragon. Something's fishy. Yi Xian frowned slightly. Luoluo's attacks were very strong. Even a 5th stage true sage would not be able to withstand them, let alone this black dragon. However, her full-powered attack could only barely break the black dragon's scales. Young master, this black dragon has the world destruction dragon scales. Luoluo suddenly transmitted her voice back. When Yi Xian heard it, he could not help but tremble. A black dragon had the world destruction dragon scales? How was that possible? Wasn't the world destruction dragon scales the black destruction dragon scales? Could this black dragon be? While he was still in shock, Luoluo continued. However, these dragon scales are much weaker than the world destruction dragon scales. This black dragon must have swallowed the world destruction dragon scales. Who knows, it might even have the world destruction dragon bones in its body. That's good. You're giving us benefits again. Yi Xian grinned. However, this black dragon's strength was a problem. Thus, Yi Xian directly summoned the sky-splitting divine ape. With the help of the sky-splitting divine ape, it would be difficult for this black dragon to survive. As expected, once the sky-splitting divine ape appeared, coupled with Wei Zhentian's mystic divine armor, the black dragon's head was smashed into a bloody mess. However, it was not dead yet. Heaven-shaking 108 strikes. The sky-splitting divine ape did not show any mercy. It smashed down with its pole again and again. Soon, the black dragon was killed. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host has completed the Divine Beast Envoy title mission. Will you immediately change to the Dragon Slayer title? Yes. The moment the black dragon died, a notification sounded in Yi Xian's mind. The Divine Beast Envoy title mission was finally completed. After Yi Xian was equipped with the Divine Beast Envoy title, Luoluo and the other's strength doubled again. In addition, Yi Xian, Old Tree, Luoluo, and the others' attacks would triple in damage to beasts. If they had the Divine Beast Envoy title just now, Lualua would definitely be able to kill this black dragon alone without the need for Patian. However, just as Yi Xian was pleasantly surprised, 3 figures suddenly passed by above his head. This black dragon actually has the world-ending dragon scale on its body. Maybe it also has the world-ending dragon bone? Tisk tsk. I heard that the White Dragon Palace is purchasing the world-ending dragon scale and dragon bone. This is going to be a huge profit. This little girl and the little monkey are quite strong. They can actually kill this black dragon. The 3 people's discussion fell into Yi Xian's ears. The White Dragon Palace is purchasing the world-ending dragon scale and dragon bone? What kind of power is this? How dare they buy it so brazenly? Moreover, what is the relationship between the White Dragon Palace and the Black Dragon sect? Without waiting for Yi Xian to finish his thoughts, the 3 people directly attacked, preparing to snatch the black dragon's corpse. How dare you steal Yi Xian's things? Kill them! Yi Xian immediately ordered Lualuo and the sky-splitting divine ape. These 3 people were only 5th grade true masters. Their strength was not very strong. They had just arrived, so they did not know the strength of Lualuo and the sky-splitting divine ape. In this way they would be courting death. Claw of the Demon God. 108 shocking strikes. Lualuo and the sky-splitting divine ape quickly counterattacked. The sky-splitting divine ape's attack power and attack speed were so fast that one person's body exploded in an instant. What? The other 2 people were shocked. They hurriedly stopped and then quickly retreated. You want to escape? Have you asked for my permission? Yi Xian widened his eyes. After killing the black dragon and the 5th grade true master, Yi Xian condensed 5 slaughter seals. 6 slaughter seals immediately erupted. Immortal Slaying Puppet. The immortal slaying puppet summoned by the 6 slaughter seals was not to be underestimated. Bang! With a single move, the immortal puppet cut off the path of retreat of the 2 fleeing cultivators. Chapter 1829. No, don't kill us. We'll leave immediately. Please spare us. The 2 of them spat out a mouthful of blood and begged for mercy. Unfortunately, they could not save their own lives. The sky-breaking ape god killed the 2 of them with his staff. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. When the 2 system notifications sounded, their corpses were already taken away by Yi Xian. The 2 of them, including the one who died first, probably did not know that the leader of the group was Yi Xian, a 3rd grade half-step perfected person, Yi Xian. When they came over, they chose to ignore Yi Xian. They did not expect Yi Xian to be the leader. Yi Xian immediately put Wei Zhuntian into the plant space and turned it into the soul-sucking bell to search the souls of the 3 of them. This method of soul-searching was equivalent to Yi Xian searching the souls of the 3 of them. White Dragon Palace. I don't know what faction these 3 belong to. I only know that they are very powerful. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. However, the White Dragon Palace seemed to be buying the Destruction Dragon Scale and Destruction Dragon Bone at a much higher price than the Black Dragon sect. No matter what faction the White Dragon Palace was, if they were buying the Destruction Dragon Scale, it would be a good place for Yi Xian to go. If someone else was buying, he could rob them. This would save him a lot of time. After all, the Black Dragon sect was only buying in private. However, the White Dragon Palace was buying openly. This would attract the attention of many factions. Is the nearest city in Fixed Sky City? Yi Xian thought for a while and quickly checked the map. Then he rushed north. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a 4th grade half-step perfected person. Ding! Inferno Ghost Lord, Destruction Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. Host is now a 8th grade half-step perfected person. During this time, his cultivation level had also broken through again. However, the City Lord of Fixed Sky City seemed to be a 9th grade perfected person. This strength was quite strong, so Yi Xian did not dare to do anything for now. Let's take a look at the White Dragon Palace's purchasing point first. Yi Xian entered Fixed Sky City and made some inquiries. No one had heard of the White Dragon Palace before. Perhaps it was because the White Dragon Palace's rank was too high. Ordinary people would not know of it. When Yi Xian arrived at the Fixed Sky City's purchasing point, he noticed that many people were entering one after another. Some people came to exchange the World Destruction Dragon Scale or World Destruction Dragon Bone for treasures of heaven and earth. Some people did not have the World Destruction Dragon Scale or World Destruction Dragon Bone, but they had information about it. The White Dragon Palace did not refuse any of them. If there was one, he would accept it. If there wasn't, he could use the information to exchange for natural treasures. However, he didn't have that many. The strongest expert at the White Dragon Palace's purchasing point in Fixed Sky City is actually a 9th stage true master. Yi Xian let Luoluo feel it, and he was shocked. However, even so, it couldn't stop him. This purchasing point has been here for a few days. I wonder how many World Destruction Dragon Scales and World Destruction Dragon Bones have been purchased. However, these items have different prices in different places. The higher the level of the city, the higher the price. I wonder how many people will drop them in Fixed Sky City. Yi Xian thought to himself and summoned the old tree and the sky-splitting divine ape. As for the World Destruction Ghost Dragon, Yi Xian asked him to hide for a while. This was because these World Destruction Dragon Scales and World Destruction Dragon Bones were related to the World Destruction Ghost Dragon. Once he appeared, he was afraid that he would attract the attention of the middle-aged man in white. Although Fixed Sky City was a long distance away from that place, the middle-aged man in white didn't seem to be easy to deal with. He might come. Moreover, Yi Xian felt that the middle-aged man in white was related to the White Dragon Palace. However, just as Yi Xian was about to make his move, several figures suddenly appeared in the sky. These people were at least 8th stage true masters, and there were even 2 9th stage true masters. Were they here for the World Destruction Dragon Scales? No, they weren't. Yi Xian felt the murderous intent of these people. They probably didn't come with good intentions. When the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace's acquisition point sensed these auras, he immediately put down what he was doing and led the other experts out. Everyone, I'm afraid you aren't here for the World Destruction Dragon Scales, right? A young man in white walked out and said to the newcomers. Haha. The person in the lead laughed coldly and said, Attack! A great battle broke out. The White Dragon Palace had 1 9th stage true master and 5 8th stage true masters. On the other hand, there were 2 9th stage true masters and 6 8th stage true masters. It seemed that the newcomers were stronger. However, one shouldn't forget that the White Dragon Palace wasn't a power that these people could come into contact with. These experts at the acquisition point might not be from the White Dragon Palace but were invited by the White Dragon Palace. In the blink of an eye, the two sides began to fight. These people are here to snatch the World Destruction Dragon Scales, Yi Xian thought to himself as he watched the battle in the sky. At this moment, he was pondering whether or not he should interfere. In other words, he was trying to take advantage of the situation. Forget it, kill. In the end, Yi Xian decided to make a move. In the next moment, the old tree, Wei Zhentian, Luo, and the sky-breaking ape god all attacked. Their current strength was much stronger than before. After all, with 4 beasts on the field, coupled with the Divine Beast Envoy bloodline and the title of Divine Beast Envoy, they could obtain a 2.8 times increase in strength. Don't forget that the Immortal Eye Unicorn bloodline could be increased by 1-fold, which was a total of 3.8 times. Netherworld Soul-Shattering Strike. Demon God's Claw. Heaven-Startling 108 Strikes. The old tree and the others attacked with all their might. Their target was not the 9th stage True Master at the White Dragon Palace's acquisition point, but the 5 8th stage True Masters. Their attacks were quick and unexpected. No one would have thought that their strength would be so powerful. As a result, 3rd stage True Masters and 8th stage True Masters fell in an instant. What? The group of people who came were shocked. They did not expect there to be another group of people here who were eyeing the acquisition point. Just as they were surprised, the old tree flashed over and took away one of the corpses. As for Yi Xian, who was below, he'd already used the Super Devour skill to take away a corpse through the air. As for the 3rd corpse, it was taken away by the bandits. In an instant, the White Dragon Palace lost 3 8th stage True Masters. Only 2 8th stage True Masters and the 9th stage True Master were left. How dare you touch the White Dragon Palace's things? The 9th stage True Master of the White Dragon Palace saw that the situation was not right and immediately roared. Then, he took out a white token from his yin and yang ring and crushed it. Not good. The bandits were shocked. Obviously, the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace was recruiting people. Chapter 1830. Before they could react, an illusory figure condensed in the air, and an invisible pressure instantly spread out. Yi Xian, who was only a rank 4 half-step perfected person, was suppressed to the point that he couldn't move. A rank 9 perfected person? No, it wasn't. This phantom's strength had probably reached the level of a half-step true monarch. Moreover, it should be a rank 2 half-step true monarch. Go quickly. The leader of the bandits widened his eyes and quickly turned around to leave. You're courting death. The eyes of the rank 2 half-step true monarch flashed, and he directly slapped the back of the bandit. Bang! A muffled sound rang out, and the bandit's chest was pierced through, and he died immediately. Instant kill. The surrounding people all shuddered. It was just a phantom, but it was already so strong. If the real body came, how terrifying would it be? Before the crowd could react, the rank 2 half-step true monarch continuously slapped and killed those people. Not only that, but Old Tree was also killed. Fortunately, Yi Xian reacted quickly and put Luo away, or else he would be in trouble. The rank 2 half-step true monarch didn't pay much attention to this. After all, he was going to kill all the greedy people. Who has the guts to come out? The rank 2 half-step true monarch coldly snorted. The surroundings were completely silent. However, the White Dragon Palace still lost 3 rank 8 perfected persons in this battle. It was a loss. After the rank 2 half-step true monarch looked around, he began to dissipate. He estimated that no one would dare to attack again. As he disappeared, the pressure on Yi Xian also disappeared, and he could finally move. Huff. Fortunately, this half-step true monarch was just a phantom and not the real body. Yi Xian quietly heaved a sigh of relief. Of course, if he didn't perform a soul search, no one would suspect him, a half-step perfected person. Even a rank 6 perfected person couldn't do it, let alone a half-step perfected person. Moreover, there were so many people here, and each of them had a higher realm than him, so he was very safe. Then, he quickly left this place to avoid unnecessary trouble. Let me see how many good things those 2 people have. After leaving, Yi Xian began to check. In the battle just now, he collected 2 corpses, and the third one was taken by the bandits. However, there were more than 30 World Destruction Dragon scales in these 2 corpses, which could increase the World Destruction Ghost Dragon's combat power. However, Yi Xian didn't dare to find trouble with those people. At least for now. Therefore he decided to stay in Set Sky City. Ding. Every time they broke through, their strength would increase by leaps and bounds. This time, after they broke through, they would most likely have the strength to deal with the next group of White Dragon Palace experts. However, just as he was about to make his move, rumble! A series of loud noises resounded in the sky. Yi Xian raised his head to look. After sensing for a moment, he discovered that the White Dragon Hall's purchase point in Dingtian City had been attacked. Last time, a second-stage half-step true lord killed the bandits. Now, someone dares to come out. They must be tired of living. Yi Xian's eyes widened in surprise. At the same time, he dashed toward that place. When he arrived, he saw a phantom fighting with a long-haired man. A half-step true lord? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. The half-step true lord referred to the long-haired man. Although the phantom was a second-stage half-step true lord, the other party was here in person. Humph, not bad. I can take advantage of the situation again. At this time, Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. He released the Old Tree and the sky-breaking divine ape. This operation was dangerous, so Luo wouldn't take action for now. After breaking through, the Old Tree could now fight across 7 realms. After all, Yi Xian had merged with the bloodline of the Divine Beast Ambassador. With his various moves, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight against an 8th-stage true lord. However, the sky-breaking divine ape was still the most powerful one. It had always been able to fight across realms. Now that it was wearing the mystic divine armor, it could almost kill a 9th-stage true lord instantly. This time, the sky-breaking divine ape was the main attacker, and the Old Tree was in charge of collecting the corpses and the yin and yang rings. Heaven-shocking 108 strikes. The sky-breaking divine ape swung its rod and instantly killed 2 9th-stage true lords who were fighting. While the other 9th-stage true lord was stunned, the Old Tree quickly collected the corpse. Who's there? The 9th-stage true lord was shocked. As he turned his head, he slashed at the Old Tree. However, the Old Tree was also very fast. It quickly flashed behind the other ninth stage True Lord. Bam! This punch accurately landed on the ninth stage True Lord's back. Unfortunately, the ninth stage True Lord Old Tree couldn't break through the other ninth stage True Lord's defense. You're courting death. The ninth stage True Lord was furious. A strong wave of immortal energy was released and hit the old tree. However, the sky-breaking divine ape's attack had already arrived. Gotcha! This strike landed on the ninth stage True Lord's head and directly smashed it into pieces. Then, the old tree smashed into the wound, shattering the immortal heart. Another ninth stage True Lord had fallen. However, the battle on this side was also discovered by the long-haired half-step True Monarch and the projection of the second stage half-step True Monarch. Let's go! In the distance, Yi Xian quickly collected the old tree and the sky-breaking divine ape into the planting space. The two figures disappeared in an instant. The two half-step True Lords were stunned. If they didn't collect them, the old tree and the sky-breaking divine ape would probably become the focus of their attacks. Bastard! The half-step True Lord Phantom cursed angrily. This was because the white-clothed youth at the fixed Sky City's purchase point was one of the two dead. The long-haired man also cursed in his heart and quickly left. Originally, he had planned to kill all the people in this collection point after defeating the second stage half-step True Monarch Phantom. However, he hadn't expected that a variable would suddenly appear midway. Not only did it kill his people, it also disappeared without a trace. This time they had worked for nothing. Let's go! The long-haired man immediately transmitted his voice to the others and quickly left. The remaining people were only a few 8th stage True Lords. Yi Xian didn't care about them. This time, he had obtained 2 9th stage True Lords' corpses. One of them was even the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace's purchase point. He quickly checked and found a total of 30 apocalyptic dragon scales and 1 apocalyptic dragon bone in the 2 corpses. This trip was really worth it. Chapter 1831. Now the purchasing point in Fixed Sky City had been destroyed by the 2 groups of people. The second stage half-step True Lord had also disappeared. However, Yi Xian was interested in the long-haired man. It might not be the first time the latter dared to attack the White Dragon Palace's purchasing point. He should have the apocalyptic dragon scale in his yin and yang ring. Fortunately, Yi Xian had marked the other party with the death hunt order. Hence, Yi Xian quickly chased after him. With his current strength, it would be difficult to kill the other party. After all, the sky-breaking ape god was in a deep sleep. However, if he broke through again, it would be safer. Yi Xian immediately continued his pursuit. After the long-haired half-step True Monarch left Fixed Sky City, he rushed to another city at full speed and left through a teleportation formation. Yi Xian was 2 days slower than him. After comparing the other party's location to the map, he also left through teleportation. In the end, Yi Xian came to a city. He found that the other party was in the City Lord Mansion. So it's an expert in the City Lord Mansion. He went to another city to rob. This is rare. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and left. This city also had a purchasing point of the White Dragon Palace. He went to check and found that there was a second stage half-step True Lord in charge here. No wonder he did not attack in his own territory. He was too strong. However, the 2 cities were not far away. Was this person not afraid of being discovered? Yi Xian did not care so much. Anyway, he was waiting for time. As long as he broke through, he would rob the City Lord Mansion. A few days later. Ding! Host has broken through. Current realm is 6th stage half-step True Master. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World-Destroying Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. Current realm is 1st stage True Master. Everyone had broken through again. Now, they were qualified to attack the City Lord Mansion. However, before this, Yi Xian found that the Sky-Breaking Ape God skill had changed. Originally, the Sky-Breaking Ape God only had 1 skill, which was the Sky-Breaking Ape God's 108 strikes. However, that skill was gone now. Only 72 strikes were left. Although the number of strikes was fewer, the power was definitely stronger than the 108 strikes. Good, very good. Yi Xian nodded in satisfaction. Previously, he had complained that the Heaven-Breaking Ape God only had 1 skill. Now that he saw that the skill could level up by itself, he felt that it was quite good. Alright, let's go in and kill that target. Yi Xian said immediately. The old tree, Wei Zhentian, and the heaven-breaking divine ape immediately charged in. After a few days of investigation, Yi Xian found out that there was only one half-step true lord in the city lord's mansion. Moreover, that person was the city lord. Therefore, the long-haired man that day should be the city lord in disguise. In the blink of an eye, the old tree and the sky-breaking ape god rushed in, heading straight for that aura. "Who are you? How dare you trespass into the city lord's mansion?" Along the way, there were naturally many experts from the city lord mansion intercepting them, but they could not stop the two of them at all. The sky-splitting divine ape was extremely fast. When it sensed that aura, it ruthlessly smashed its staff over. 72 staff strikes of the heavens. Although the opponent was a half-step true lord, which was one realm higher than the sky-splitting divine ape god, the sky-splitting divine ape was currently wearing the mystic divine armor. In addition, its skill had leveled up. Just one staff strike was enough to kill the city lord. Ding! The target of the deathly hunt command is dead. Ding! The killing intent of the host has increased. Outside the city lord's mansion, Yi Xian could not help but smile when he heard the two system notifications. At that moment, the old tree had already flashed over and collected the city lord's universe ring and corpse. "Let's go and purchase some items," Yi Xian immediately ordered. The sky-splitting divine ape god and the old tree did not stay and quickly left the city lord's mansion. During this time, the old tree was stored in Yi Xian's planting space once and left the items there. The city lord, who was a half-step true lord, was directly killed by a staff strike. He died without knowing why. However, there were more than 50 World Annihilation Dragon Scales and 1 World Annihilation Dragon Bone in his universe ring. For the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon, this was a 10% increase in strength. While the sky-splitting divine ape god was still there, Yi Xian was prepared to destroy the purchase point as well. Soon, they arrived at the White Dragon Palace's purchase point. "Kill!" Yi Xian ordered again. The White Dragon Palace's purchase point was in a restaurant. The sky-splitting divine ape god accurately sensed that there was a second-stage half-step true lord and 2 first-stage half-step true lords. As for the others, they were nothing to be afraid of. With the sky-splitting divine ape god's current strength, it would not have a problem fighting 1 against 3. However, Yi Xian's thinking was too simple. After the sky-splitting divine ape god approached, it directly raised its thin staff and attacked the 3 auras in the restaurant with 72 staff strikes. The people in the restaurant did not care about the sky-splitting divine ape god's aura of a first-stage true master, so they were caught off guard. A first-stage true master was instantly killed by the sky-splitting divine ape god. Ding! The killing intent of the host has increased. At the same time, Old Tree also directly used a big move to kill those true masters who were not even half-step true lords. Netherworld's soul-shattering strike. In the restaurant, the second-stage half-step true lord saw that his side was attacked and immediately reacted. When he killed his way out of the restaurant, the sky-splitting divine ape god's second strike landed. Bang! The other first-stage half-step true lord was also killed. As such, only the second-stage half-step true lord was left. Damn it! The second-stage half-step true lord's expression changed greatly. He did not expect the attacker to be so powerful and killed 2 of his subordinates in the blink of an eye. Immediately, he took out a white token. Yi Xian had seen this white token in Fixed Sky City before. At that time, the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace used it to summon the phantom of a second-stage half-step true lord. Therefore, he could not let the other party succeed. "Old Tree!" Yi Xian quickly shouted. Old Tree naturally understood and quickly used the Netherworld Fire Clone to flash over, but he was still 1 step too late. The white token was already crushed. Immediately after, a phantom appeared in the air. Its aura was very strong, and it was most likely a 4th-stage half-step true lord. However, it was only a phantom after all, and its strength should only be around that of a 3rd-stage half-step true lord. Humph, it really came. Yi Xian coldly snorted in his heart. So what if it was a 4th-stage half-step true lord? It was just a phantom, and the sky-splitting divine ape god could block it. Now that the sky-splitting divine ape god was facing this 4th-stage half-step true lord, the 2nd-stage half-step true lord was free. Therefore, Yi Xian had no choice but to use his last trump card. World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, come. The next moment, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon appeared in front of everyone. However, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon had not used the Ghost Dragon transformation yet, so it was still in human form. After fusing with so many World Annihilation Dragon Scales and World Annihilation Dragon Bones, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon's strength had skyrocketed, and it was actually not weaker than the sky-splitting divine ape god. Chapter 1832. However, Yi Xian had been looking for an opportunity to summon the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon ever since he had merged with the bloodline of the Divine Beast Ambassador. He wanted to try merging with the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. Today, he could finally give it a try. With a thought, Yi Xian disappeared in the next moment. Then, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon underwent some changes as well. The merging technique allowed Yi Xian to control the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's body. At the same time, he would gain some new abilities. After merging with the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, Yi Xian did not feel any discomfort. However, his current body was the body of the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, and he had full control over it. Ghostly Dragon Transformation. Without hesitation, Yi Xian used his ultimate move and transformed into a giant black dragon. Moreover, his body was 3 times bigger than the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's original form. World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon Claw. After transforming, Yi Xian attacked the second stage half-step True Lord directly. His giant claw grabbed the air, and a force enveloped the latter. Gotcha! In just an instant, the bones of the second stage half-step True Lord were crushed. If not for the latter's higher realm, he would have been crushed to death. Not dead yet? Try this Undying Battle Soul. The Undying Battle Soul was originally able to increase the combat power of the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon and Wei Zhentian by 3 times. Now, it was increased to 5 times. Black Dragon Flame Blast. The World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon opened its mouth and spewed out a scorching dragon breath. It instantly engulfed the second stage half-step True Lord. Instant kill. After merging with the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, its strength increased tremendously. Moreover, the power of each of its skills was also stronger than before. The World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, who was only a rank 1 True Master, instantly killed a second stage half-step True Lord. This was already a battle that surpassed 10 realms. On the other side, the Mystic God armor of the sky-splitting Divine Ape, who was battling the 4th stage half-step True Lord, was also enhanced by the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's Undying Battle Soul. 72 strikes of the sky. 72 strikes of the staff landed. This time, the sky-splitting Divine Ape completely obliterated the 4th stage half-step True Lord's shadow. It was also an instant kill. In the blink of an eye, the 2 obstacles disappeared. Next, this purchase point would also be destroyed by Yi Xian. Due to his fear of the middle-aged man in white, he felt that this was not a good place to stay. However, this time, he did not expect that the middle-aged man in white was actually nearby. After sensing the aura of the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon, he quickly rushed over. What? I can't move for now? At this moment, Yi Xian raised his brows. Not only was he unable to move, even the heaven-breaking Divine Ape was the same. I finally found you. To error Ghostly Lord for him, a Lord Ghostly Lord This voice belonged to the middle-aged man in white. Yi Xian's face turned pale with fright. He was prepared to use time reversal, but it did not matter. After all, he still had a doppelganger in the mortal world. Even if his 3 doppelganger were to die, the 4th doppelganger could still use time reversal, unless it was in a special place like the space-time relic. However, what surprised him was that after the World Destroyer Ghostly Lord appeared, another powerful aura descended. TSK, TSK, TSK. Is this the White Dragon Palace's White Dragon Saint? A strange voice rang in Yi Xian's ears again. When the World Destroyer Ghostly Lord heard this, he quickly turned his head and saw a man in a black cloak standing in the air. Who are you? Asked the World Destroyer Ghostly Lord. My position in the Black Dragon sect should be equivalent to your position in the White Dragon Palace. You can call me the Black Dragon Saint, said the man in the black cloak. The White Dragon Palace's White Dragon Saint. The Black Dragon sect's Black Dragon Saint. It was obvious that these 2 forces were on opposite sides. However, the Black Dragon sect was a force that had just risen recently. It's the Black Dragon sect again. The White Dragon Saint narrowed his eyes. He felt that this man in front of him was not ordinary because he was at the same level as him. Why would he come to such a remote place with such a level of cultivation? The White Dragon Saint could not help but look at the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. He was probably attracted by the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. White Dragon Saint. I know that you are interested in him. Unfortunately, I am also interested in him. The Black Dragon Saint grinned and said, "Why don't we have a fight? If you win, I will hand him over to you. What do you think?" Hearing this, the White Dragon Emissary paused and looked at him. As expected, the Black Dragon Saint was also attracted by the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. Since that is the case, let's begin. The White Dragon Saint did not say anything and directly transformed into a huge white dragon. It turned out that he was also a Zooist. Not only that, the Black Dragon Saint also transformed into a huge black dragon when he saw the Black Dragon Saint transform. A white dragon and a black dragon. Moreover, their auras were so powerful that they could suppress the people in the entire city. If the two of them were to fight, the entire city would be destroyed. Rumble. A loud sound entered Yi Xian's ears. Although Yi Xian couldn't see it right now, he knew that this battle was probably going to shake the heavens and shake the earth. The people in the city were also shocked. They only hoped that this battle would not affect them. At this moment, Yi Xian was also very nervous. He did not know if he should use the time reversal skill now. However, this skill could be used at any time. He might as well watch a good show first. This battle did not last long. In less than 5 seconds, one of the auras disappeared without a trace. Black Dragon Sect, you will be eliminated by the White Dragon Palace. The White Dragon Saint's voice came from the sky. The Black Dragon Saint looked at the white light in the sky and grinned. He said, "Haha, don't leave if you have the guts." He had won this battle. However, he was only slightly stronger than the White Dragon Saint. It was not possible for him to kill the White Dragon Saint. Hearing this, Yi Xian's heart trembled. He did not expect the White Dragon Saint, who had been chasing him for so long, to be so easily defeated by the Black Dragon Saint. He did not know what level the two of them were at. Were they perfected lords or higher? In any case, it was not something that Yi Xian could deal with at the moment. The reason why Yi Xian did not use the time reversal skill was because he wanted to see what the Black Dragon Saint wanted to do to him. "Brat, you have merged with at least 100 world-destroying dragon scales, right?" The Black Dragon Saint suddenly appeared in front of Yi Xian. At the same time, the latter could temporarily move. With the Black Dragon Saint's strength, he was not worried that Yi Xian could escape from him. Yes. Faced with this question, Yi Xian only nodded slowly. He guessed that the Black Dragon Saint thought that he was a member of the Black Dragon Sect. Chapter 1833. Calamity. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. He did not understand what the Black Dragon Saint was talking about. The White Dragon Saint left a mark in your body. However, I have already removed it. I have to go and kill the White Dragon Saint now. After the Black Dragon Saint finished speaking, he prepared to leave. However, just as he turned around, he suddenly stopped. He took out a black pearl and handed it to Yi Xian. "This is a gift for our first meeting. It can shield you from the destructive aura. If you manage to fuse with 10,000 world-ending dragon scales in the future, you can come to the Black Dragon Sect to look for me." As soon as he finished speaking, the Black Dragon Divine Envoy disappeared. However, the moment he disappeared, the city was suddenly shaken into nothingness by his powerful oppressive might. Everyone died a violent death. Not a single living thing survived. The entire city was instantly compressed. It could not even be considered a wasteland. So cruel. Yi Xian swallowed his saliva. He thought that he was already heartless enough to rob others. However, compared to the Black Dragon Saint, he was King killed in an instant. The Black Dragon Saint destroyed the entire city with his aura. There were more than 1 million people here. However, this had nothing to do with Yi Xian. Although this was caused by him, it had nothing to do with him. Calamity? What is it? Yi Xian still did not understand the situation. However, he quickly broke through the void and left the place. Although he was fusing with the world-destroying ghost dragon, he could still use his own skills. At the same time, he knew that the White Dragon Saint and the Black Dragon Saint were attracted not because he had fused with hundreds of world-ending dragon scales. It was because of the world-destroying ghost dragon's physique. Of course, it was hard to believe that someone who had fused with hundreds of world-ending dragon scales would appear here. After all, even the city master of this city, a stage 1 half-enlightened being, had only fused with 5 world-ending dragon scales. If it was not for the physique of the world-destroying ghost dragon, it would be difficult for him to fuse with 3 world-ending dragon scales, let alone hundreds. Yi Xian suddenly remembered what the Black Dragon Saint said. After fusing with 10,000 world-ending dragon scales, he could go to the Black Dragon sect to look for him. Was it possible for an ordinary person? It's almost impossible for an ordinary person, but it's not impossible for the world devastator ghostly dragon. A person who has fused with 10,000 world-exterminating dragon scales probably has an unprecedented talent. That Black Dragon Saint envoy probably just wants to recruit him. Yi Xian immediately understood. The Black Dragon cult taught people how to fuse with a dragon scale of annihilation, so there must be many such geniuses in the cult. It was indeed impossible for perfected ones to fuse 100 dragon scales. However, there were still realms above true monarch, true king, true emperor, and so on. It was not impossible to fuse 100 dragon scales. Yi Xian shook his head and tossed this question to the back of his mind. He wasn't qualified to think about it right now. Immediately, he began to check his loot. This time, he had obtained a decent harvest. There were almost 100 pieces of dragon scales and 2 pieces of dragon bones. These had greatly increased the strength of the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon. Now, if the World Devastation Ghostly Dragon was not included, the World Devastation Ghostly Dragon should be able to defeat the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. No, it shouldn't be possible because the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape's shocking 108 strikes had increased to 72 strikes. Because the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape was in a deep sleep, Yi Xian couldn't let it fight the World Devastation Ghostly Dragon. Now, although this time, Yi Xian was still thinking about whether he should use time reversal to go back to when the City Lord was still alive. After all, he had already been exposed. Although he had met the Black Dragon Saint envoy and obtained a treasure that could conceal his aura, who knew what would happen? After thinking about it, Yi Xian decided not to use time reversal for the time being. After all, the time reversal skill could allow him to go back to 10 days ago. It was only the first day, so there was no hurry. However, he soon found out what the Black Dragon Saint envoy meant by disaster. While he was still searching for his target, a series of roars suddenly sounded from the horizon. It seemed to be the roars of dragons. What's going on? Yi Xian turned his head in shock and saw a group of black dragons charging towards him from the horizon. These black dragons were very fast. They were all at least advanced perfected persons. If they gathered together, they could even fight against a half-step true lord. However, these black dragons were not enough to threaten Yi Xian. Old tree Luo Luo, destroy them all. Yi Xian immediately gave the order. To deal with these black dragons that were not even half-step true lords, he didn't even need to summon the World Devastation Ghostly Dragon or the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. After all, Yi Xian now had the bloodline of the God of Beasts. His title could increase the attack power of the beasts by 3 times. Immediately, the old tree flashed over and started attacking crazily. Although the old tree was only a rank 1 perfected person, it was extremely powerful. It could kill a corpse with 1 punch. As for Luo Luo, it was needless to say. Its killing speed was even faster than the old trees. Soon, these dozens of black dragons were all killed. Not a single one was left. Yi Xian quickly went over and kept all the corpses. However, after these corpses entered the planting space, the World Devastation Ghostly Dragon suddenly sensed something. You're saying that these corpses all have the aura of World Devastation? Yi Xian raised an eyebrow and said in shock. The World Devastation Ghostly Dragon was definitely not mistaken. Hence, Yi Xian quickly used the Immortal Level Devouring System to analyze. These black dragon scales did contain the aura of World Devastation. However, they were not World Devastation Dragon Scales. The World Devastation Ghostly Dragon can also fuse with these dragon scales. However, the effect is much worse than the World Devastation Dragon Scales. Hundreds of them are equivalent to 1 World Devastation Dragon Scale. Yi Xian was a little helpless. Fortunately, there were enough dragons. If all of them were added together, it would be equivalent to 10 World Devastation Dragon Scales. At the same time, Yi Xian also obtained a new name from the Immortal Level Devouring System. Destruction Dragon Scales. Could these black dragons be the offspring of those black dragons that fused with the World Devastation Dragon Scales? Suddenly, a guess appeared in Yi Xian's mind. It was obvious that the Destruction Dragon scales were much worse than the World Devastation Dragon scales. This was why Yi Xian was so suspicious. While Yi Xian was pondering, another roar sounded from the horizon. Another wave of black dragons attacked. Old Tree and Luo Luo moved out again and dealt with this wave of black dragons. Why are there so many of them? Where did they come from? Yi Xian was very surprised. He was in the middle of two cities and was not in a dangerous place. Why were there so many black dragons? Immediately, he flew towards the nearest city. He felt that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. There were so many black dragons. Perhaps it was related to the disaster that the Black Dragon Saint had mentioned. Chapter 1834. Yi Xian was more and more certain that the black dragons were created by the Black Dragon Saint or the Black Dragon sect. When he arrived at the nearest city, he found that it had already been reduced to ruins. There were countless corpses in the city. Yi Xian remembered that the city lord of this city was a half-step true lord expert. Even so, the city was still destroyed. It seemed that this was indeed a disaster. Perhaps it was a black dragon tide that swept through the surrounding areas. Perhaps there were even true lord-level black dragons, or even stronger ones. However, Yi Xian felt that the black dragon disaster this time was a blessing for him. These black dragons all had destruction dragon scales on their bodies. Every time, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's combat power would increase. It was really profitable. At this time, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's boost was almost 200%. When he thought about how the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon could increase its combat power without limit, Yi Xian could not calm down. He searched the city for a while but did not find anything. Then he quickly left. Next, he was going to go on a killing spree. He wandered around the area and encountered wave after wave of black dragons. These black dragons were all killed by them without exception. The World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's combat power was also increasing bit by bit. This speed was faster than when he robbed the White Dragon Palace or the Black Dragon Sex branches. However, just as he broke through to the 6th-stage half-step perfected person, the sound of a system notification stunned him. Ding! The system has created a bloodline bearer. Killing the bloodline bearer will result in a reward. Hearing this, Yi Xian was stunned. What the hell was a bloodline bearer? He hurriedly checked and then took a deep breath. A bloodline bearer was a person who had one of his 5 bloodlines. For example, the Immortal Slaying Bloodline Bearer, the Immortal Eye Unicorn Bloodline Bearer, the Immortal Phoenix Bloodline Bearer, the Spacetime Bloodline Bearer, or the Imperial Beast Envoy Bloodline Bearer. This bloodline bearer had one of Yi Xian's 5 bloodlines. However, this bloodline bearer's level was probably much higher than Yi Xian's. If Yi Xian killed this bloodline bearer, the system would give him a very generous reward. However, this was difficult. This was because Yi Xian didn't know where this bloodline holder was. But fortunately, this bloodline holder could sense the distance between himself and Yi Xian. It was just like when Yi Xian was being hunted by the other party. Fortunately, this feeling came and went from time to time. The other party would only be able to sense Yi Xian every other day. If the owner of this bloodline killed Yi Xian, then he would replace Yi Xian and become the new host of the Immortal Grade Devouring System. F***CK. This is heaven-defying. Does the system not like me and want to find someone to replace me? Yi Xian was terrified. This bloodline holder was able to sense him, but he couldn't sense the bloodline holder. What if the bloodline holder's cultivation level was higher than his and he became a true monarch? What would happen then? The system is really a scam. Looks like I have to be more careful. Yi Xian swallowed his saliva. In the following days, he had to be more vigilant in his surroundings in case the bloodline holder came. If the bloodline holder had the Immortal Phoenix bloodline, it would be fine. But if the other party had the Immortal Slaying bloodline or the Spacetime bloodline, then it would be a little difficult to deal with. No matter what, he had to be more careful. Next, Yi Xian would use the Eye of the Void to locate his position from time to time. If there was any danger, he would immediately break through the void and leave. At the same time, he was also wearing the Mystic Divine armor. If the other party had the Immortal Slaying bloodline, he could instantly mark him and then use the Eye of Assassination to teleport over. If the difference in cultivation level was too great, he wouldn't be able to react in time. Just like that, Yi Xian spent 3 days in fear. I wonder what kind of bloodline the possessor of this bloodline possesses? Yi Xian was quite curious. However, just as he was looking for a group of black dragons in the wilderness. Oh, I found it again. This time, there seemed to be more than 100 black dragons. Yi Xian's eyes lit up. With so many black dragons, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's combat strength would increase by about 5 to 10%. After all, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon was one cultivation level higher than before. However, this time, it wasn't as simple as he thought it would be. What a strong aura. Could it be a half-step True Lord level black dragon? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. However, a half-step True Lord level black dragon was still a piece of cake to him. Old Tree and Luo immediately rushed over. However, he soon realized that the combat strength of this group of black dragons was extraordinary. It was several times stronger than the ones they had encountered before. Young master, their strength is very strange. Luo couldn't help but send a voice transmission. These black dragons' defense is much stronger than before. What's going on? Old Tree was also puzzled. Although they had the Divine Beast Envoy title to increase their damage, they could only barely break through the black dragon's defense. Strange. This was really strange. TSK. Are you the person I'm looking for? Suddenly, a sinister laugh fell into Yi Xian's ears. Yi Xian looked in the direction of the voice and saw an enormous black dragon on the other side. A figure stood on top of the black dragon's head. It was a person who looked like a young man. As they were too far away, Old Tree and Luo couldn't sense his cultivation level. Who are you? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and asked subconsciously. Although I don't know why it's you, I can tell you that I was only a 7th grade True Master 3 days ago. However, after a fortuitous encounter, my cultivation level increased by leaps and bounds. I broke through all the way to 9th grade half-step True Master. Now, I just need to kill you, and my breakthrough speed will increase again. The young man said coldly. Hearing this, Yi Xian finally understood who this person was. He was a bloodline holder. Death Hunt Order. Yi Xian immediately used the Death Hunt Order and prepared to mark this person. However, he found that he failed. Ding! Death Hunt Order marking failed. Yi Xian was very disappointed by the system. This bloodline holder could sense him, but he couldn't use the Death Hunt Order to mark him. This was too unfair. Although this person was a 9th grade True Master, he was also a bloodline holder. Moreover, Yi Xian didn't know what bloodline this person had, so he didn't dare to act rashly. All right, you will be the first stepping stone for me to become an expert. Go to hell. After the young man said coldly, he directly attacked. However, it wasn't him who attacked, but the black dragon under his feet. Huff, huff, huff. The black dragon opened its mouth and spat out a black dragon breath, attacking Yi Xian. Chapter 1835. Teleport. Yi Xian quickly used the space-time bloodline to teleport away. Now, he understood what kind of bloodline his opponent had. It should be the Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline. Those black dragons were probably controlled by this young man. That was why they were so strong. The bloodline owner in front of him did indeed have the Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline. Moreover, his bloodline grade was much higher than Yi Xian's. It allowed him to control a large number of immortal beasts. At the same time, his own strength and that of the immortal beasts increased by a lot. Since the Death Hunt Order could not mark him, Yi Xian decided to kill him in one go. World Destroyer Ghost Dragon, Sky-Breaking Ape God Go! Yi Xian immediately gave the order. In the next moment, the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon and Sky-Breaking Ape God charged forward. This time, they had to kill the bloodline owner successfully. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. After all, this young man had said that he only took 3 days to break through from 7th level True Sage to 9th level True Sage. Although Yi Xian did not know how he did it, this speed was enough to pose a threat. In this way, they had to nip this threat in the bud. However, the mission this time was not so simple. That self-proclaimed system said that you also have the Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline and 4 other types of bloodlines. As long as I kill you, the Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline can be upgraded again. Moreover, I can obtain these 4 types of bloodlines from you. After the young man finished speaking coldly, his eyes flashed and he disappeared in an instant. Where did he go? Yi Xian was shocked. In the next moment, he felt the aura of this half-step True Lord Black Dragon in front of him skyrocket. Fusion. This young man had fused with a black dragon. Roar! The black dragon roared at the sky. It aimed at the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon and Sky-Breaking Ape God and released another dragon breath. However, the power of the dragon breath this time was several times stronger than before. The World Destroyer Ghost Dragon and Sky-Breaking Ape God did not dodge and were hit directly. Ding! The World Destroyer Ghost Dragon has died. Ding! The Sky-Breaking Ape God has died. Ding! The World Destroyer Ghost Dragon has revived. Ding! Heaven-Breaking Ape God has been revived. Yi Xian was scared out of his wits when he heard 4 consecutive system notifications. He had actually killed the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon and the Sky-Breaking Ape God with a single strike. One had to know that ever since the Heaven-Breaking Ape God had signed a contract with Yi Xian, it had never died. But today it had actually died. Fortunately, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon and the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape were both Dharma treasures. If it was Luo, she would be in deep trouble. This person isn't someone I can deal with right now. Yi Xian immediately thought of this, and that was to retreat. At that moment, he quickly put Luo into the planting space to prevent any accidents. Then, he quickly summoned the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon and the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape. This time, the mysterious god armor was worn by the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. As for Yi Xian himself, he merged with the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon. Die, brat! At this moment, the black dragon opened its mouth again and spat out another mouthful of dragon breath. However, this time, the World Devastator Ghost Dragon opened its mouth as well. Undying Fighting Soul. Black Dragon Flame Blast. The 2 black dragon breaths collided directly. If anyone dared to stand in the middle of the 2 dragon breaths, they would most likely be reduced to ashes. The black dragon was at the level of a half-step true lord while the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon was only at the level of a rank 2 true master. There was a difference of 8 levels between them. Even though the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon had been greatly enhanced, it would still be difficult for it to withstand this attack. This time, the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon had actually lost. Whoosh! 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 The other party's dragon breath was aimed at the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon. If this dragon breath were to hit the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon, it would be enough to kill it. Even the immortal Phoenix bloodline would not be able to recover. In the state of merging, if the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon died, the 3 doppelgangers of Yi Xian would also die directly. However, Yi Xian would not die so easily. Teleport. Just as the black dragon breath was about to hit him, Yi Xian quickly used the space-time bloodline to teleport and escaped from where he was. Following his departure, this dragon's breath also pounced on empty air. In terms of attack power, the current World Destroyer Ghost Dragon was no match for the black dragon of the young man. After all, they were a few levels apart. However, the Sky-Breaking Godly Ape on the other side had a chance to attack. 72 strikes of the rod. The Sky-Breaking Godly Ape raised both hands and aimed at the black dragon. The power of this attack was even stronger than the black dragon flame blast of the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon. The only thing was, how much damage would it cause to the black dragon? Too naive. The black dragon's scales suddenly emitted a demonic black light, directly blocking the staff. The young man also had the Imperial Beast Envoy bloodline. Moreover, it was stronger than Yi Xian's. In addition, they had different body parts, so their skills were different. In the end, this attack did not cause any damage to the black dragon. This bloodline holder was indeed not that easy to kill. However, at this moment, ding! Yanming Ghostly Lord is dead. Ding! Yanming Ghostly Lord is resurrected. On the other side, the old tree was suddenly killed by the black dragons with the dragon scales of destruction. Following that, the black dragons charged over under the control of the young man. Surrounded, ha! Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and controlled the dragon head to turn. He used the Deathly Hunt token to mark the leading black dragon, and then quickly used the Eye of Assassination to flash over. Although he was in a merged state, Yi Xian could still use his skills. In an instant, the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon arrived in the midst of the black dragons and opened his mouth. World Destroyer Dragon Roar. This move was specially used against beasts. In addition to the damage amplification of the Imperial Beast Envoy, a large number of black dragons were killed in one move. Their corpses fell from the sky. Ding! Host has formed a massacre seal. Ding! Host has formed a massacre seal. Another series of system notifications rang out. Due to the huge difference in cultivation level, in just one move, Yi Xian had formed 5 massacre seals. In addition to the initial skill, there were 6 seals. Following that, Yi Xian chose to activate these 6 massacre seals. The massacre seal skill had been upgraded once. Originally, each massacre seal could increase one's strength by 1-fold. After the upgrade it was 2 times. With 6 massacre seals activated together, it could increase one's strength by more than 7 times. In addition to the Undying War Souls 3 times, it was 10 times. However, this was not the end. Ding! Million Beasts illustration fixed successfully. Yi Xian did not hesitate to spend 1 Devour point to fix the Million Beasts illustration. The Million Beasts illustration could suppress 50% of the beast's strength. This was something that Yi Xian thought of after using the World Destroyer Dragon Roar. Chapter 1836. What? The young man felt the change and was slightly surprised. Before he could recover from his surprise, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon opened its mouth again. Black Dragon Flame Blast. The power of this attack was much stronger than before. In addition, the young man's Black Dragon's strength had decreased. He might not lose this time. Roar! Rumble! Another exchange of dragon breaths. However, this time, it was Yi Xian who won. The Black Dragon Flame Blast of the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon instantly destroyed the opponent's dragon breath. Then, it hit the Black Dragon's body and destroyed almost 1/3 of its body. This is impossible. The young man panicked. The Black Dragon that he had tamed was at the level of a half-step True Lord. How could it not defeat a second-stage True Master Black Dragon? The previous attack had severely injured the Black Dragon. If there was another attack, it would probably die. No, run. I have to run. The young man could not care less. If he was killed in his merged state, he would also die. Run. Immediately, the young man controlled the Black Dragon, spread its wings, and quickly turned around to leave. The heaven-splitting divine ape's eyes flashed and immediately attacked. 72 strikes of the rod. Unfortunately, the heaven-splitting divine ape did not have the mystic divine armor now, so its attack power was reduced. Even if the Black Dragon's strength was suppressed by 50% by the picture of 10,000 beasts, the black light outside its body could still block the attack. Don't even think about leaving. Yi Xian naturally would not let go of this opportunity to beat the Black Dragon Flame Blast. He immediately opened his mouth and released another Black Dragon Flame Blast. However, the Black Dragon's realm was still there. Even if its strength was suppressed by 50%, its speed was not to be underestimated. Whoosh! 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 The Black Dragon Flame Blast was dodged. In the blink of an eye, the Black Dragon turned into a black stream of light and flew into the sky. Even if the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon gave chase at full speed, it would not be able to catch up. Damn it! Yi Xian cursed. He did not expect the other party to escape just like that. The possessor of this bloodline was a huge hidden danger. If he was not eliminated, there would be endless troubles in the future. Although the Black Dragon was very ordinary, it had gained several skills after being tamed by the young man. Apart from blocking the heaven-breaking ape god's 72 rod strikes of the heaven-shattering ghost dragon, it should also have a skill when it was escaping. Otherwise, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon would have been able to catch up to them. However, it had to be said. The owner of this bloodline was overconfident. Perhaps it was because he saw that Yi Xian was only a half-step Taoist master, so he didn't take him seriously. If the other party had merged with Yi Xian right from the start, the outcome might not have been like this. After all, Yi Xian had just thought of fixing the Myriad Beasts diagram. What a tragedy. That guy fused with the Black Dragon. Even the Deathly Hunt command is unable to mark him. If I had known, I would have marked that Black Dragon first. Yi Xian felt very helpless. However, he wasn't sure if the method of marking the Black Dragon would work. After all, the other party would merge with the Black Dragon, and the mark of the Deathly Hunt command might be erased. All in all, the other party had been chased away by Yi Xian this time. Young master, who was that just now? Luo asked after the battle was over. An old enemy. We have to kill him. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble in the future. Yi Xian replied. Although he couldn't keep up with the Black Dragon's speed, he still controlled the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon to chase after it. After all, he might be able to find it. If he was lucky enough to find it, Then he could get rid of this hidden danger in passing. However, after searching for a while, Yi Xian didn't find anything. After all, at this level, one could fly in the sky and wouldn't leave any traces. After that, Yi Xian gave up on this idea. This time, the system had given him a difficult problem. Only the other party could sense him, but he couldn't track him. What a scam. That guy's leveling up very quickly. I can't fall behind. Otherwise, I'll be killed by him one day. Yi Xian thought to himself. This time, he was able to chase the other party away. However, next time, the other party might break through to a half-step true lord and tame an even more powerful immortal beast. When that time came, Yi Xian would be dead meat. Therefore, Yi Xian had to quickly increase his strength. Due to the existence of the bewitching points, the only way he could increase his strength now was to collect the World Annihilation Dragon Scales and the Dragon Scales of Destruction. At the thought of this, Yi Xian couldn't help but start moving again. This time, he left this place first and kept a distance from the young man. Next, Yi Xian began to continue hunting the Black Dragon. He kept collecting the Dragon Scales of Destruction to increase the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon's strength. A few days later, he broke through again to become an 8th stage half-step true master. The old tree, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, the Sky-Breaking Ape God, and the others also rose to 3rd stage true master. Although their realms had increased, the young man's speed of improvement seemed to be faster than his. He didn't know if he had reached the half-step true lord level. Fortunately, the other party didn't sense Yi Xian every day, but every other day. As long as Yi Xian was fully prepared, even if he encountered him, he could quickly break through the void and leave. Of course, after the previous battle, the other party definitely wouldn't talk nonsense like before. When he saw Yi Xian, he would definitely attack directly and try to kill him in one blow. Finally, on the 6th day after the battle, the young man came again. Damn, this guy finally came. Yi Xian's expression changed. Judging from this speed, the other party had already broken through to the half-step true lord level. Moreover, the thing inside the body had also changed. It was no longer the black dragon from before, but a new black dragon. It was bigger and had a higher realm, reaching 3rd stage half-step true lord level. This wasn't the main point. The main point was that there were 10 half-step true lord level black dragons behind the young man. At this moment, Yi Xian felt like cursing. It had only been a few days, but the other party's strength had increased by more than 10 times. How much did the system hate him? Brat! I'll definitely kill you today. Deh! Before the young man arrived, his voice fell into Yi Xian's ears. I can't fight this battle. Yi Xian's expression changed. Fortunately, he had come up with a plan in the past few days. Eye of the Void. Immediately, Yi Xian quickly entered the Void Gate. Then, the Void Gate disappeared, and the young man lost his target. He teleported so far away? The young man was shocked, but he could arrive at this distance in less than half a day. This time, Yi Xian's destination for breaking through the void was actually a city. His plan this time was to lure trouble to the east and borrow a knife to kill someone. He would use the experts in the city to deal with the young man. After the battle, he would kill the young man. Last time, he broke through from 7th stage True Lord to 9th stage True Lord from 7th stage True Lord in 3 days. This time, 6 days have passed, and he's only 1st stage half-step True Lord. Then, he should be at the peak of 1st stage half-step True Lord now. Give him some more time, and he'll probably reach 2nd stage half-step True Lord. Chapter 1837. Yi Xian was very curious. How did the other party level up? How did he level up so quickly? At this moment, he suddenly remembered the bloodline that the other party had. The Divine Beast Ambassador bloodline. Could it be that the reason he leveled up so quickly has something to do with beasts? The more immortal beasts he controls, or the higher the realm of the immortal beasts, the higher the level he can level up. Yi Xian suddenly thought of this. Actually, this was very possible. He leveled up by devouring beasts, and the other party leveled up by controlling immortal beasts. What was impossible about this? If that was the case, then the disaster that the Black Dragon sect started this time had really come at the wrong time. It had become a benefit for the bloodline holder. He stayed in the city for a while. Indeed, in less than half a day, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon sensed that aura. It's here. Humph. There are stage 4 half-step True Lords in this city. I'll let you fight with them first. Yi Xian sneered in his heart. However, what surprised him was that the young man had come with hundreds of other black dragons besides the black dragon he was riding and a few stage 1/2 step true lords. What the F***CK? Isn't his divine beast ambassador bloodline a little too F***King awesome? Yi Xian was shocked. Fortunately, such a big lineup was very eye-catching. Immediately, experts rushed out of the city. Recently, black dragons had been rampant. It was already very good that this city could survive until now. Therefore, the people in the city were in a state of readiness. At the slightest sign of trouble, they would turn out in full force. They had to deal with it quickly. Someone is actually controlling this group of black dragons. Heavens, there are so many high-level black dragons. There are even half-step true lords among them. What are you afraid of? We already dealt with a similar situation 3 days ago. The city lord is a stage 3 half-step true lord. Moreover, there are also experts from the White Dragon Palace. The people in the surroundings discussed softly. They went all out in every battle because the entire city would be destroyed if they lost. At this time, the stage 4 half-step true lord in charge of the White Dragon Palace's purchasing point, the city lord, and the experts of the various large families had all arrived. The divine beast ambassador bloodline holder looked at this group of people and could not help but snort coldly. All of you, get out of my way. I only want one person. One person. When everyone heard this, they were slightly surprised. What a joke. You brought so many black dragons here just to find one person? The 4th stage half-step true monarch at the White Dragon Palace's purchasing point snorted coldly. If I say so, then so be it. All of you had best get out of the way. Otherwise, bear the consequences yourself. The young man snorted coldly. If it was before, he would not dare to act rashly here. After all, he was only a rank 7 Taoist at that time. And now, his cultivation had reached the peak of rank 1 true monarch. If nothing unexpected happened, he would be able to break through to rank 2 true monarch tomorrow. Although this strength was not very strong, with the bloodline of the Imperial Beast Envoy, he already had the strength to challenge those of a higher level. These people couldn't stop him. What an arrogant tone. You must be from the Black Dragon cult. Just obediently surrender. The city lord shouted. What a joke. The young man spat in disdain. He had also heard of the Black Dragon cult recently and understood that the destruction of so many cities recently was caused by the Black Dragon cult. However, he was not from the Black Dragon cult. His current goal was to kill Yi Xian. It seems that you are not willing to get out of the way. Next, you will pay the price in blood. After the young man said coldly, he directly gave the order to the group of black dragons. Kill without mercy. A great battle began. In an instant, the two sides began to exchange blows. Countless flying swords and Dharma treasures were thrown out. On the other side, hundreds of black dragons opened their mouths and spat out scorching dragon breaths. As for the 4th stage half-step true monarch in charge of the White Dragon Palace, he led the experts and charged out. Rumble! A series of loud sounds rang out continuously. In the city, Yi Xian could not help but grin when he saw the outbreak of this great battle. This move of killing with a borrowed knife was not bad. He remembered that there was a saying, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. At this moment, he was the oriole. When the human side was almost done with the young man, he would unleash his full strength and strive to kill the owner of this bloodline. However, he did not expect that the young man, who was merely a 1st stage half-step true monarch, would be able to fight against a 4th stage half-step true monarch after merging with his black dragons. Moreover, it was one against many. It was too terrifying. These hundreds of black dragons should not all be his black dragons. Otherwise, just the fact that all of them are attacking together would increase his combat strength by dozens of times. Yi Xian thought to himself. He currently had 5 black dragons, which were the Old Tree, the World Devastator Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape, and Luoluo. If all 5 of them attacked together, Yi Xian and the other 5 black dragons would be able to double their combat strength, which was 20%. If these hundreds of black dragons were the young man's black dragons, even if they were 20%, it would increase his combat strength by dozens of times. Moreover, one should not forget. The young man's Imperial Beast Envoy bloodline was of a higher level than Yi Xian's. This meant that the boost from each black dragon could be more than 20%. It could be 30%, 40%, or even double. This was too crazy, which was why Yi Xian felt that it was impossible. The number of black dragons the young man had was probably between 10 and 20, because Yi Xian could currently tame 10 black dragons. In short, this bloodline owner was one of the more troublesome ones Yi Xian had encountered so far. After all, such a fast breakthrough speed had already surpassed his own immortal grade devouring system. Moreover, if the young man succeeded in killing him, it seemed that he would obtain the immortal grade devouring system and replace it. This gave Yi Xian a lot of pressure. While Yi Xian was pondering, the battle outside the city had already reached its climax. It was extremely intense. Countless black dragons turned into corpses and fell from the sky. Many humans were also killed by the black dragons. Seeing this scene, Yi Xian silently mourned for these people. That stage 4 half-step true lord doesn't seem to be able to stop this young man. It seems that I have to make a move. Yi Xian thought to himself. He wanted Wei Zhentian to sneak out. Then, Wei Zhentian suddenly transformed into the Myriad Beasts diagram. As soon as the Myriad Beasts diagram appeared, all the immortal beasts present, as well as the young man who had fused with the black dragon, instantly lost 50% of their combat strength. The enemy's combat strength decreased. This was a good thing for the humans. Damn it, what is this thing? The young man was shocked. He immediately turned his dragon head and took the opportunity to spit a mouthful of dragon's breath at Wei Zhentian. Whoosh whoosh. If this mouthful of dragon's breath had hit a stage 3 half-step true lord, it would have been enough to seriously injure him. If not for the Myriad Beasts diagram, it would have been enough to kill him instantly. Chapter 1838. Ding! Wei Zhentian is dead. Ding! Wei Zhentian is resurrected. 2 consecutive system notifications rang. After Wei Zhentian died, he was quickly resurrected in the planting space. Let's go again. Yi Xian grinned and continued to release Wei Zhentian. The Myriad Beasts illustration appeared again. The young man's face was gloomy. He knew that this was Yi Xian's trick, so he had to make a decision. He had to break through this group of humans, kill his way into the city, find Yi Xian, and crush Yi Xian's body. Soaring demonic wings. In an instant, the black dragon that had merged with the young man spread its wings and turned into a black stream of light. It instantly flew past the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace and charged into the city. Oh no! Stop it! The expression of the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace changed drastically. This was not a good sign. If the black dragon charged into the city and unleashed a few dragon breaths, the death toll would be at least in the tens of thousands. In desperation, he had to take out the white dragon token that every person in charge had and crush it. In the next moment, an illusory figure condensed in the air. This aura belonged to a 6-stage half-step true lord. The person in charge of the White Dragon Palace had been suppressed by the young man when he joined forces with a few 3rd-stage half-step true lords. Although the young man's combat power had decreased by 50% with the appearance of the Myriad Beasts illustration, he was still able to fight them to a draw. However, now that an illusory figure of a 6-stage half-step true lord had appeared, it was enough to pose a threat to the young man. Damn you, White Dragon Palace! Get lost! The young man cursed and turned his head. Before the other party could figure out what was going on, he aimed at the illusory figure in the air and unleashed a dragon breath. Whoosh! 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 This dragon breath was still very powerful. The illusory figure of a 6-stage half-step true lord in the air raised an eyebrow and attacked directly. Bam! The 2 energies collided, creating countless shockwaves. Fortunately, the collision site was still outside the city. If it was in the city, those with lower realms would have been killed directly. Even so, the group of people guarding above the city wall was still sent flying by the shockwaves, creating a gap. 100 dragons roar. When the young man saw this, his eyes immediately lit up. Immediately after, the group of black dragons behind him all opened their mouths and spat out waves of dragon breath. These dragon breaths actually converged into one, and their target was actually the phantom of the 6-stage half-step true monarch. Among them, there was naturally the young man's own dragon breath. This power was enough to kill a 5th-stage half-step true monarch. The 6th-stage half-step true monarch in the air did not expect the attack to be so powerful. Although he raised his hand to block, he did not succeed and was instantly blown away. Seeing this scene, the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace could not help but be stunned. The others were the same. Although it was only a phantom, the strength of a rank 6 half-step true monarch phantom was about the same as that of a rank 5 half-step true monarch's main body. However, he was still defeated by the young man. If that move had been used on them, wouldn't they have suffered heavy losses? Even the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace did not dare to be 100% confident of avoiding it. Mother Cur, why did I have to use this move? The young man cursed in his heart. Then, he turned into a stream of light and flew toward the city. Don't even think about it. The expression of the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace changed. He took out a White Dragon token from his yin and yang ring. Every person in charge had 3 of these White Dragon tokens. He had only lost one just now. The next moment, another phantom appeared. It was the person who had been blown away just now. B*****. The 6th-stage half-step true monarch cursed and attacked the young man again. A huge palm suddenly appeared, as if it wanted to grab the young man. However, the young man who had merged with the black dragon and used his demonic wings to soar into the sky was not slow. He nimbly avoided the palm in the air. Then, he opened his mouth and spat out a dragon breath. This time, the one who attacked was not the 6th-stage half-step true monarch but Yi Xian, who was hiding in the city. This time, Yi Xian knew that he could not hide anymore. Otherwise, many people would die. Come! Yi Xian glared and summoned the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Sky-Splitting Divine Ape, and Old Tree. Heaven-Shocking 72 Strikes. Undying Battle Soul. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Last time, Yi Xian had to increase his strength by 7 times before he was able to defeat the young man. This time, he could only form 3 slaughter seals. If he unleashed all of them, he would only be able to increase his strength by 4 times. Fortunately, he still had the Sky-Splitting Divine Ape. Its heaven-shocking 72 strikes was not weak either. The combination of the 2 attacks managed to disperse the dragon's breath. The next moment, Yi Xian directly used teleportation and moved into the air. This bloodline holder is a super scourge. If I don't get rid of him, I will live in danger in the future. Yi Xian thought to himself. Then he shouted, "Let's work together and kill him." Although there would be a reward for killing the bloodline holder, Yi Xian did not intend to ask for any reward this time. As long as he could kill this bloodline holder, he would make a profit. The 6th-stage half-step true monarch in the air and the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace were a little surprised when they saw Yi Xian's black dragon. However, an enemy's enemy was a friend, at least for the current situation. Therefore, they quickly attacked the young man. Spiritual Pagoda Hand. Heaven-Shaking Spiritual Slash. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Heaven-Shocking 72 Strikes. 4 attacks were aimed at the young man. Damn it, I'll let you go today. I, Li Jun, will definitely come back for your head in the future. The young man cursed angrily. Then, he turned into a black ray of light and flew away from the city. Compared to that day, this speed was even faster by 30%. Is he called Li Jun? When Yi Xian heard this, he snorted disdainfully. Last time, he was the one who had been defeated. What did he mean by letting him go again? However, Yi Xian felt a little regretful that he could not kill Li Jun this time. He could only blame the people of the White Dragon Palace for being too useless. After Li Jun left, he did not take the remaining black dragons with him. While the battle was still going on, Yi Xian quickly broke through the void and left. Then, he quickly disintegrated and returned to the city. This way, even the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace, or even the 6th-stage half-step true monarch, would not be able to find him. After this battle, the people in the city were a little scared. Many people quickly left through the teleportation formation. After all, they did not expect that there would be a powerful black dragon hidden in the city. Even the person in charge of the White Dragon Palace could not find him. Chapter 1839. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a 9th-stage half-step perfected person. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World-Destroying Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have made a breakthrough. Host is now a 4th-stage perfected person. During this time, Yi Xian and the others made breakthroughs in their cultivation. After breaking through, Yi Xian gained some confidence. Hence, he broke through the void and left the city. After all, the White Dragon Palace had been used by him before. Hence, Yi Xian was too embarrassed to rob it and left just like that. However, What he didn't know was that not long after he left, a second group of black dragons attacked. The one leading them was the divine beast envoy, Li Jun. This time, he was here for revenge. That guy must have left. Li Jun thought to himself as he looked at the city in front of him. Today, he couldn't sense Yi Xian's location. However, that didn't matter. He was here for revenge today. A few days ago, he was only a first-stage half-step true monarch. However, today, he had broken through to third-stage half-step true monarch. Coupled with the third-stage half-step true monarch black dragon under him and the thousands of black dragons behind him, he could definitely get his revenge. Unsurprisingly, this city was reduced to ruins like the other cities. Millions of corpses were strewn everywhere and blood flowed endlessly. Yi Xian actually didn't expect that this Li Jun wouldn't chase after him first and would instead run off to take revenge. Otherwise, Yi Xian would have made the first move. Today is almost over. That Li Jun should be able to sense me tomorrow. Somewhere in the holy world, Yi Xian looked at the sky and couldn't help but think to himself. Based on his 2 encounters with Li Jun, he already knew when Li Jun would be able to sense him. He reckoned that Li Jun would come again tomorrow as long as he didn't leave. Yi Xian was actually looking forward to this. As long as Li Jun's cultivation was lower, his chances of killing Li Jun would be higher. Even if he couldn't win, he could use the Eye of the Void to leave. However, his main focus now was the world-destroying dragon scale and the dragon scale of destruction. As long as he was strong enough, he could eliminate Li Jun. 100 black dragons? At this time, the old tree who was scouting ahead suddenly sent back a message. It turned out that they had encountered a group of 100 black dragons. Every time they encountered the black dragon tribe, the world devastator ghostly dragon's strength would increase significantly. After that, Yi Xian would be able to enjoy himself for a while. At that moment, Yi Xian directly broke through the void and passed through. Currently, he was wearing the mystic divine battle armor and was fully prepared. The old tree and the world annihilation ghostly dragon would be responsible for dealing with the black dragon tribe. Now that the world destroyer ghostly dragon had the black dragon saint's pearl of annihilation, it could hide the world destroyer's aura. Yi Xian had not seen the white dragon saint in a long time. He did not know if it was because the black dragon saint was chasing after him or because he could not sense him. In short, Yi Xian was very grateful to the black dragon saint. If the two of them became enemies in the future, Yi Xian was prepared to spare his life. Very soon, this group of black dragons was annihilated. Yi Xian quickly cleaned up the battlefield and fused the Destruction Dragon Scale and Destruction Dragon Bone with the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon. 8%, huh? Not bad, not bad. Yi Xian nodded satisfactorily. This disaster could be considered a blessing to him. He could meet many groups of black dragons every day. Some had more, some had fewer. The smallest had only a dozen, while the largest had hundreds. Every day, he could steadily increase the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's combat strength by about 10%. However, the next problem was that when the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's combat strength increased from 0 to 100%, one Destruction Dragon Scale could increase the combat strength by 1%. However, when the combat strength increased from 100 to 200%, 5 Destruction Dragon Scales could only increase the combat strength by 1%. What about after the combat strength increased to 200%? Now, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's combat strength increased to more than 190%. Tomorrow it might even exceed 200%. When that time came, he would definitely need more Destruction Dragon Scales, right? At the thought of this, Yi Xian felt a headache coming on. If there were no changes, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's combat strength would have increased by almost 6 times. Very soon, it was the next day. According to Yi Xian's prediction, Li Jun would be able to sense him today. In fact, as long as he wanted to leave, Li Jun would not be able to catch up to him. After all, he had the Eye of the Void and could travel through many places. As long as he left once in a while, Li Jun would definitely be like a headless fly, flying around randomly. However, Yi Xian wanted to see how strong Li Jun was now. Hence, he did not want to run around. As Yi Xian expected, just after noon, he met Li Jun. "I've finally found you. Bastard, today will be the day you die." Li Jun cursed angrily. At this time, he was a third-stage half-step true lord. The black dragon he was riding was also a third-stage half-step true lord. As for Yi Xian, He was now a 9th stage half-step true master. Previously, he was a 7th stage half-step true master. However, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's combat strength had increased by 80%. If they were to fight today, it was hard to say who would emerge victorious. However, at this time, Yi Xian suddenly realized a problem. This time, Li Jun had rushed over with only a 3rd stage half-step true Lord Black Dragon. Furthermore, it was not the one from the other day. The other black dragons probably could not keep up with their speed. If that was the case, Li Jun's combat strength today would not be as strong as before. However, he probably would not be able to obtain a 7-fold combat strength increase. Come! Without saying anything, Yi Xian released the old tree, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, and the Sky-Breaking Divine Ape. Kill! In an instant, Yi Xian merged with the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. Myriad Beasts Diagram. Undying Battle Soul. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Heaven-shocking 72 strikes. One after another, powerful attacks were launched toward Li Jun. Humph, you're underestimating me. Li Jun snorted coldly in his heart. He quickly dodged and opened his mouth. However, this time, he did not spit out dragon breath. Instead, a petite figure flew out from his mouth. This petite figure's aura was actually that of a 3rd stage half-step true lord. What the hell is that? Yi Xian took a closer look and realized that it was a small black bird. However, this small black bird was very fast. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Wei Zhentian. Then, it poked a few holes in him. Unfortunately, Wei Zhentian and Yi Xian shared the immortal phoenix bloodline and recovered in the blink of an eye. What? Li Jun was shocked. He had specially tamed this small bird so that he could catch Yi Xian off guard. As long as he destroyed the Myriad Beasts diagram, his combat strength would be raised to the peak. Unfortunately, this small bird was also suppressed. Otherwise, the Myriad Beasts diagram could be destroyed by it. Of course, even if it was destroyed, Wei Zhentian would quickly revive and appear again. So this was your plan. I have to say, the reason you failed was because you were too arrogant. Chapter 1840. If Li Jun had brought another 100 black dragons and used the 100 Dragons' Roar, Yi Xian would still be in great danger. Unfortunately, Li Jun was eager to kill Yi Xian, so he was the first to arrive. However, those black dragons were also on the way. As long as they arrived, they could still cause a lot of trouble for Yi Xian. My slaughter seals are condensing. As long as I condense 6 seals, I can increase my combat strength by 7 times. Yi Xian thought to himself. Back then, he had also increased his combat strength by 7 times and had beaten Li Jun to a pulp. Today, Li Jun did not have any other black dragons present, so his strength had decreased. As long as Yi Xian could condense 3 more slaughter seals, he would definitely be able to kill Li Jun. Ding! The host has condensed 1 slaughter seal. Yi Xian and Li Jun fought crazily. During this time, he finally condensed 1 slaughter seal. If he added the 2 that he had not used, he would have 4 slaughter seals. However, at this moment, a group of figures suddenly swept over from the horizon. More than 10 black dragons flew quickly toward Li Jun and Yi Xian. Needless to say, these were definitely black dragons that Li Jun had tamed. As long as they arrived, Li Jun's strength would undergo a qualitative leap. However, this was also an opportunity for Yi Xian. With so many black dragons, as long as he could find the time to kill 1 or 2, he could condense the remaining slaughter seals. At that time, Li Jun would still be beaten to a pulp. This time he might even die here. However, Yi Xian was too naive. You're finally here. Today is the day you die. After sensing the arrival of his black dragons, Li Jun became agitated. After roaring at the sky, his body suddenly emitted waves of black gas. Then, the dozen or so half-step true lord-level black dragons behind him also emitted waves of black chi, which then converged on the black dragon that Li Jun had fused with. Suddenly, Li Jun's aura skyrocketed. Not good. Yi Xian's expression changed and he quickly retreated. Who would have thought that Li Jun still had a trump card up his sleeve? However, Yi Xian knew that this move must have some repercussions. Otherwise, why would Li Jun wait until the 3rd time to use it? Very soon, the black gas completely fused into Li Jun's body. His aura directly skyrocketed by several times. Yi Xian, who had originally wanted to kill the black dragons and form the Carnage Seal, understood that this plan was unlikely to succeed. This was because the black dragons had all turned into corpses and weakly fell from the sky. Looks like it won't work. Slaughter mode. At that moment, Yi Xian directly exploded with 4 slaughter seals, directly increasing his strength by nearly 5 times. Annihilation Dragon Claw. World Annihilating Dragon Roar. Black Dragon Flame Wave. Heaven Startling 72 Strikes. Yi Xian and the sky-breaking ape god joined forces and attacked with all their might. However, after Li Jun's strength had increased, he was still able to suppress Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian did not want to escape this time. He had to see where his limits were. Li Jun's techniques definitely had a time limit. Once the time limit was up, Li Jun would be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. If the situation did not look good, Yi Xian would fly away again. Rumble. This battle was also quite intense. There were continuous movements in the air, and the two were still locked in battle. If a third party intervened at this time, one of them would definitely weaken and then be killed. Coincidentally, another figure flew towards Yi Xian and Li Jun from the horizon. The two of them glanced at each other and discovered that it was a black-haired youth. However, this person's aura was even stronger than Li Jun's. A 6-stage half-step true monarch. Last time, Li Jun had only encountered the illusion of a rank 6 half-step true monarch. However, this time, he had encountered a real rank 6 half-step true monarch. Moreover, this youth did not seem to be that simple. Yi Xian sensed a powerful destructive aura from him. This youth was most likely from the Black Dragon sect. His appearance caused Yi Xian and Li Jun to stop. The Pearl of Annihilation? At this time, the youth's gaze suddenly fell on Yi Xian. He had sensed the Pearl of Annihilation from Yi Xian's body. Not only that, but so did Yi Xian. The Pearl of Annihilation senses? Yi Xian raised an eyebrow as if he had suddenly seen hope. This youth was from the Black Dragon sect and had also fused with a Pearl of Annihilation. Yi Xian also had a Pearl of Annihilation in his body, so they could sense each other. This meant that this youth might be able to help. Brother, do you need help? At this time, the youth suddenly sent a voice transmission to Yi Xian. Hearing this, Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. Yes. Okay. The next moment, the youth attacked. In the blink of an eye, he transformed into a majestic black dragon. Oh no! Li Jun's expression changed drastically. He knew that things were going to be troublesome. Currently, he could fight Yi Xian to a draw. However, if this youth interfered, he would definitely be killed by Yi Xian and Yi Xian. Let's go! Li Jun immediately made the decision, then quickly turned around and left. You want to leave? Yi Xian's eyes flashed as he opened his mouth wide. Black Dragon Flame Blast. On the other side, the youth also opened his mouth and spat out a scorching dragon's breath. Both dragons' breaths attacked Li Jun, but Li Jun dodged them all. In the blink of an eye, Li Jun disappeared into the horizon. F***CK. This skill is too amazing. He can escape every time. Yi Xian cursed in his heart. He guessed that this escaping skill did not belong to the Black Dragon, but to Li Jun, who had the bloodline of the Divine Beast Envoy. However, he had not been able to kill Li Jun this time. If Li Jun survived this ordeal, he would probably be in even greater trouble in the future. At this moment, Yi Xian thought in his heart that if an expert were to help him, then Li Jun would definitely die. Unfortunately, Yi Xian could not come into contact with such an expert. Many thanks. After Li Jun left, Yi Xian hurriedly thanked the youth. That black dragon just now did not seem to be a Zooist. Moreover, it was a little strange. What was it? The youth could not help but ask. At this moment, the World Devastator Ghost Dragon suddenly opened its mouth and Yi Xian came out of it. Seeing this, the youth was somewhat astonished. He thought that the World Devastator Ghost Dragon was a Zooist. He did not expect that there would be one hidden in its mouth. Both he and I are beast tamers. He wants to snatch away this toy of mine. Yi Xian said to the youth. Oh, beast tamer? The youth transformed back into his human form and sensed for a moment. Sure enough, the Pearl of Extinction was in the World Devastator Ghost Dragon and not Yi Xian. He could not understand how Yi Xian, a 9th-stage half-step Taoist master, had subdued such a powerful black dragon. Chapter 1841. However, This did not matter because the Black Dragon cult did not only have Zuyuyoists of the Black Dragon clan, but also humans. In addition, the Pearl of Extinction was not an ordinary item. It would only be given to someone who was acknowledged. Therefore, the young man did not doubt Yi Xian's identity at all. How many dragon scales has your black dragon assimilated? The young man suddenly asked. Hearing this question, Yi Xian quickly pondered for a moment. If he really had to calculate, then the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon had already fused with nearly 600 World Annihilation Dragon scales. Of course, some of them were also World Annihilation Dragon bones. However, he did not want to reveal too much, so he could only answer casually, "It's already 130 scales." The young man was a little surprised. Amazing. I've only assimilated 150 scales now. It's getting harder and harder to assimilate the scales. It's already very good for it to have assimilated 130 scales. Upon hearing this, Yi Xian secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he did not casually say 200 scales. Otherwise, it would be difficult to explain. Without waiting for him to speak, the young man said, "I'm Qi Hao. I'm going to participate in the 100 Scales meeting. Are you going too?" The 100 Scales meeting. When Yi Xian heard this, he could not help but be a little surprised. "I'm Yi Xian. May I know what this 100 Scales meeting is?" "Oh, you don't know?" Qi Hao raised his eyebrows and said, "The 100 Scales meeting is a meeting for those who have merged with 100 World Annihilation Dragon scales. There will be some experts there to share their experiences, and the Pearl of Annihilation is the entry ticket." "Oh, I see." Yi Xian immediately understood. If it was an immortal beast that had assimilated a World Devastator Dragon scale or World Devastator Dragon bone, the immortal level devouring system could separate them. If it was a human or Zuyuist that had assimilated a World Devastator Dragon scale, the system could not do so. However, Yi Xian knew that these people should have a large number of World Devastator Dragon scales or World Devastator Dragon bones in their universe rings. If he could loot them, the World Devastator Ghost Dragon's strength would definitely increase greatly. At that time, he would have confidence in dealing with Li Jun. "Can I participate as long as I have the Pearl of Extinction?" Yi Xian asked again. "Yes." Qi Hao nodded. Yi Xian wasn't actually interested in those people's experiences. What he was interested in were their interspatial rings. Since that was the case, he would go and take a look at this 100 Scales meeting. Who knew, he might be able to reap some great rewards. Following this, Yi Xian decided to travel with Qi Hao and head to that 100 Scales meeting. Li Jun, the holder of the Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline, had also been scared away by Yi Xian and Qi Hao. It was unlikely that he would return any time soon. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian prepared to meet some people at the 100 Scales meeting. At that time, if Li Jun came and these people made a move, Li Jun would definitely die without a burial ground. Ding! Host has broken through and is now a rank 1 true master. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Annihilating Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Heaven-Breaking Divine Ape have all broken through and are now rank 5 true masters. During this period of time, Yi Xian finally broke through to the Enlightened Master Realm and his strength increased. However, he reckoned that Li Jun might have broken through again, so he couldn't let his guard down. Who knew when he would come again? According to Qi Hao, this 100 Scales meeting was held on top of the ruins of a city. That was the place where the Black Dragons had first destroyed, so no one else would be there. It was said that there would be true Lord-level powerhouses. His experience of fusing with the Black Dragons would definitely be beneficial to the others. The entry token was the Pearl of Annihilation. This was because only the Black Dragon sex geniuses who had fused with 100 World Annihilation Dragon scales would be bestowed with it. If no one with the Pearl of Annihilation approached, they would be besieged and killed. Although Yi Xian didn't have the Pearl of Annihilation, he claimed to be a beast tamer. Moreover, the Pearl of Annihilation was personally bestowed by the Black Dragon Saint. This definitely wouldn't be a problem. Yi Xian followed Qi Hao through the transportation formation. After traveling for another 2 days, they arrived at a ruin. At this time, there were already many people here. All of them were Black Dragon sex geniuses who had fused with 100 World Annihilation Dragon scales. With a cursory glance, Yi Xian discovered several hundred people. Moreover, there was still one more day before the appointed time. At that time, there would definitely be more people coming. How frightening! There are actually so many hundred scales geniuses here. Yi Xian's mind trembled. One must know that the previous master of the Blue Feather sect had only fused with a few World Annihilation Dragon scales. Of course, at that time, the master of the Blue Feather sect's realm was low. Moreover, he was a human, so he was naturally repulsed by the World Annihilation Dragon scales. Therefore, it was normal for his realm to be low. At this time, all of the Black Dragon sect's geniuses here were Zuyoists. Moreover, they were all black dragons. Only a small portion of them were from other Yao clans. As for humans, there was not a single one. Yi Xian was the first one. Why is there a human here? Suddenly, a person rushed over and asked in astonishment. Yi Xian turned his head and discovered that it was a 6th-stage half-step True Lord. He didn't sense the aura of the Pearl of Annihilation from Yi Xian. He's a beast tamer. This is his treasure. Beside him, Qi Hao explained. Hearing this, the suspicious person couldn't help but look at the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon. Then, he nodded slightly and left. Yi Xian was only a 1st-stage True Master. Even the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon was only a 5th-stage True Master. In this place they were practically the lowest level people. They wouldn't be able to cause any big waves. Yi Xian and Qi Hao quietly waited here. Although it wasn't the appointed time yet, Yi Xian discovered that there were many auras more powerful than Qi Hao. They were most likely 7th-stage half-step True Lords, 8th-stage half-step True Lords, and even 9th-stage half-step True Lords. As for the True Lord Qi Hao spoke of, it seemed that he hadn't arrived yet. Half a day later. Oh, Lord Pang is here. Suddenly, someone yelled. Hearing this, everyone on the ruins turned their heads and saw a huge black figure rushing over from the horizon. This aura shocked everyone on the ruins. So powerful. Lord Pang is the organizer of this 100 Scales meeting. He's a True Lord expert. Moreover, I heard that he has already fused with 300 World Annihilation Dragon scales. Qi Hao explained. 300 scales? Yi Xian trembled. This was truly a ruthless character. Although it was very easy for the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon to fuse with the World Annihilation Dragon scales, it was because of his special bloodline. Ordinary Zuyoists, even True Lords, would find it very difficult to fuse with 300 World Annihilation Dragon scales. To be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that he had already fused with 5 bloodlines, Yi Xian would also want to try fusing with the World Annihilation Dragon scales. However, he was afraid that the World Annihilation Dragon scales would conflict with the bloodlines in his body. Once something happened, it would be troublesome. This was because the same thing would also happen to his 4th clone in the mortal world. At that time, he would be in trouble. What if the space-time bloodline was concealed? Chapter 1842. While Yi Xian was pondering, Lord Pang flew above the ruins and transformed into a long-haired old man. Hello, everyone. The long-haired old man said. Hello, Lord Pang. Quite a few people responded. You've come from all over the world. I'm sure you're all tired. Rest for another half a day. Lord Pang found a place to rest. Although the others wanted to ask him for advice, they gave up on the idea when they saw that Lord Pang seemed to be resting as well. More and more geniuses appeared in the ruins. Everyone had a Pearl of Annihilation and could sense others. Of course, many of them noticed Yi Xian, a human without a Pearl of Annihilation. However, they did not take him seriously. According to Qi Hao, their Pearls of Annihilation were given to them by the Black Dragon Envoy of the Black Dragon sect. These Black Dragon Envoys were in charge of traveling outside. They would give geniuses with more than 100 scales to prevent them from being discovered by the experts of the White Dragon Palace. Soon, another half a day passed. At this time, Lord Pang suddenly opened his eyes. After looking around, he said, "All right, everyone, gather around." Hearing this, the surrounding people quickly stood up and gathered around. Yi Xian looked again and discovered that there were already more than 500 people. Moreover, they were all mid to high-level half-step True Lords. No matter how bad they were still low-level half-step True Lords. Moreover, he was a rank 1 perfected person. He was at the bottom of the perfected persons. Therefore, no one would take him seriously. Next, this supreme-level giant began to share his experiences. Among the dragon scales of annihilation, 100 scales was a threshold. Then, 200 scales, 300 scales. The further one went, the harder it was to fuse. However, the increase in strength was also more obvious. Lord Pang was a rank 1 true lord. However, he had fused more than 300 dragon scales of annihilation. Even if everyone here worked together, they would not be his match. For the sake of explaining, Lord Pang also said that he had once killed a rank 3 true lord. That was the strength of fusing with the dragon scales of annihilation. These people fused with the dragon scales of annihilation would increase their strength more than the world annihilation ghost dragon. However, the difficulty of fusing with the dragon scales of annihilation was many times higher than the world annihilation ghost dragon. In addition, Yi Xian had the planting space. Even if the difficulty increased, the world devastator ghostly dragon would be able to fuse with it quickly. There are so many people. If we were to gather all the dragon scales and dragon bones they have, there would be at least 1,000 of them, right? Yi Xian thought to himself. 1,000 world-ending dragon scales could increase the current strength of the world-ending ghostly dragon by 200%. Of course, this was under the premise that the number of world-ending dragon scales would not change after the increase reached 200%. However, all of this was just empty talk. With Yi Xian's current strength, he wouldn't be able to stir up any waves here. Any high-level half-step true monarch would be able to slap him to death. Not to mention that there were so many people here, including a true monarch. So this time, Yi Xian was only here to broaden his horizons. He had no other plans. Unfortunately, his realm was too low and no one was willing to befriend him. However, Qi Hao, a rank 6 half-step true monarch, knew a few people. At this time, Yi Xian was planning in his heart how he could use these people to deal with Li Jun. At the same time, he prayed in his heart that Li Jun would come quickly. That way, these people would be able to kill Li Jun. Today was the day that Li Jun sensed him. However, he had used the teleportation formation several times during this time. It wouldn't be that easy for Li Jun to catch up with him. However, just as Lord Pang was imparting his experience of fusing with the dragon scales, everyone suddenly sensed an unfamiliar aura. There's an outsider. Lord Pang immediately stopped and turned to look. Sorry to disturb you. A middle-aged man said guiltily. Everyone became alert. This middle-aged man was actually a rank 1 true monarch expert. Moreover, he didn't have the aura of the Pearl of Annihilation or the world-ending dragon scales on him. He was an ordinary person. Who are you? Lord Pang asked solemnly. It's like this. I received a distress signal earlier, so I came here to take a look. I didn't expect to be too late, the middle-aged man replied. When the surrounding people heard this, they couldn't help but snort in their hearts. This reason was too lame. Didn't he know that this city had been destroyed for a long time? Sir, no one here is requesting for help. Please leave. Lord Pang said. That seems to be the case. Then I won't disturb everyone. Goodbye. The middle-aged man nodded and turned to leave. However, the moment he turned around, everyone in the ruins suddenly took out their weapons and attacked him. Among them was the rank 1 true monarch expert. Kill! In an instant, countless attacks flew toward the middle-aged man. Damn it! The middle-aged man's expression changed greatly, and he quickly counterattacked. Unfortunately, he couldn't block the attacks of so many people and was instantly hit. Fortunately, he was a rank 1 true monarch. He directly dodged those powerful attacks and was only hit by those half-step true monarchs. His injuries weren't too serious. In the next instant, a white dragon token appeared in his hand, and he directly crushed it. As expected, it's the people of the White Dragon Palace. Lord Pang immediately reacted. At this time, a phantom appeared in the sky. It was actually a rank 3 true monarch. I'll block this guy. You all kill him. The giant shouted. Everyone understood that the guy he was referring to was the rank 3 true monarch phantom. It seemed that this gathering place had been exposed, and they couldn't stay for long. Immediately, everyone transformed into black dragons. Most of them were from the Black Dragon clan, but a small number of them were from the Darkness-type Devil clan, such as the Shadow Lion. These clans had more advantages when fusing with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale. Of course, the World Annihilation Dragon Scale was most suitable for the black dragons. Yi Xian had expected that the experts of the White Dragon Palace might come to mess things up. So before he came, he set up a void tracker to guard against any accidents. Whoosh! Whoosh! Right at this moment, a gust of wind suddenly spread out. Yi Xian and Qi Hao turned their heads to look, only to discover that a 6-stage half-step True Lord was quickly charging towards them. Oh no, it's a traitor! Chi Hao immediately reacted. The reason why the people of the White Dragon Palace could appear here was definitely because someone had tipped them off, and there might be more than one. Kill! Immediately, Chi Hao also transformed into a black dragon and directly counterattacked. As for Yi Xian, he had already put on the mystic god armor. He looked around and decided not to use the 10,000 beasts diagram. The people of the Black Dragon sect around him were almost all Zuyoists, and all of them had transformed into their true forms to fight. Chapter 1843. Other than that middle-aged man and the rank 3 True Lord Shadow, there are many other White Dragon Palace experts. Yi Xian thought to himself. It seemed that he had to leave this time. However, this was also an opportunity. In such a chaotic battle, many people would die. If he took advantage of the situation, he might be able to obtain many World Annihilation Dragon Scales. However, this was very dangerous. After all, who knew if someone was targeting him? However, as a rank 1 True Master, no one would attack him. Even if he stood there, no one would notice. However, there were some people who liked to kill those with lower realms. Tisk, tisk. Suddenly, a strange laugh rang in Yi Xian's ears. Yi Xian turned around and saw a wretched person looking at him. That gaze seemed to be looking at a prey. This guy, don't tell me he has some weird fetish? Yi Xian could not help but shudder. Fortunately, this wretched person was only a 3rd-stage half-step true monarch. Needless to say, this was definitely a traitor of the Black Dragon sect. Merge! Yi Xian immediately merged with the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon and grabbed at the air. World Annihilation Dragon Claw. Pucci! In an instant, this wretched rank 3 half-true lord's body was crushed in the air. A mere rank 3 half-true lord dared to appear in front of Yi Xian? Yi Xian quickly put away his universe ring and started searching for his next target. He was now considered to be in the Black Dragon sect's camp. Hence, he had to fight for the Black Dragon sect. Of course, he had to collect the corpses he encountered along the way. These people all had a large number of Dragon Scales of Destruction and Dragon Scales of Destruction in their Cosmos rings. Just the 3rd-stage half-step True Lord whose body had been crushed just now had more than 60 useless Dragon Scales of Destruction, and more than 10,000 Dragon Scales of Destruction. However, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon could not merge with these Dragon Scales now. It could only continue to collect them. Fortunately, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon's realm was low. It was only a rank 6 True Master. Hence, no one noticed it. Might shakes the heavens. Heavenly Wind Limitless Fan. Yi Xian quickly ordered. Today, Wei Zhentian could transform into the most common Heavenly Wind Limitless Fan. Although this transcendent artifact did not have much combat power, it could help Yi Xian get rid of a lot of trouble. Hoo hoo hoo. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew above the ruins. Anyone who got close to Yi Xian was blown away. Although Wei Zhentian was only a 5th-stage True Master, the power of his magic treasure was not small. If it was an ordinary person, they would have been blown into the sky. At the same time, the nimble old tree was summoned by Yi Xian and quickly collected the corpses. For this group of 100-scale geniuses, the Dragon Scale of Annihilation was actually not very useful. After all, their fusion was slower, so it was fine as long as they had enough. As a result, not many people competed with Yi Xian. They were all focused on killing their enemies. Kid, you're a traitor too, right? At this moment, another voice entered Yi Xian's ears. This time, the one who came was a 4th-stage half-step True Monarch. However, the other party hadn't transformed yet, so his strength wasn't very strong. Why do you care if I am or not? Yi Xian only snorted coldly. He opened his mouth and spat out a black dragon flame blast. Boom! In an instant, the upper half of the person's body was blown away, and he died. Although Yi Xian was helping the Black Dragon sect now, if anyone dared to target him, he wouldn't mind getting rid of them. However, this time, the White Dragon sect also sent out hundreds of people. Moreover, their realms were not weak. In terms of realms, the White Dragon sect's experts were one realm higher than the Black Dragon sect's experts. Although the Black Dragon sect's members have all fused with the Dragon Scale of Annihilation, they don't have much of an advantage. It's not good to stay here for long. It's better to leave first. Yi Xian already had thoughts of retreating. This was because ever since the Bloodline mission appeared, he realized that he couldn't use the time reversal skill. This unforeseen event was extremely fatal to him. He turned his head and saw that Chi Hao was fighting with a stage 7 half-step true lord from the White Dragon sect. At first glance, Chi Hao was actually at a disadvantage. The White Dragon sect was a faction whose level was unknown. Those who could be recruited by the White Dragon sect were definitely elites. It wasn't that easy to challenge someone of a higher realm. Oh no! Another stage 7 half-step true lord has his eyes on him. Yi Xian's expression changed. He quickly rushed over and transmitted his voice at the same time. Chi Hao, don't fight anymore. Let's go. No, I've already been targeted. Moreover, there are many White Dragon sect experts outside. It's difficult for me to break through the encirclement, Chi Hao replied. At this time, he was already prepared to fight to the death. That's not necessarily true. I have a way to leave. Don't resist. When Yi Xian's voice entered Chi Hao's ears, the latter felt a strange energy enveloping him. Chi Hao knew that if he continued to stay here, there was an 80% chance that he would die. Therefore, he followed Yi Xian's instructions and did not resist. In the next moment, he realized that his surroundings had changed. His comrades and enemies around him had all disappeared. At this time, he had already been stored in Yi Xian's planting space. Therefore, Yi Xian did not plan to stay here any longer. He directly broke through the void and entered. In a battle of this level, if the time reversal skill could still be used, he would definitely stay until the end and try to obtain a huge benefit before leaving. Unfortunately, the time reversal skill could not be used unless he killed the bloodline holder. Therefore, Yi Xian had to be safe. This was something he only discovered after seeing Chi Hao. At this time, Yi Xian had already left the gathering place of the 100 Scales Festival. However, he left a mark there, which was Wei Zhentian. Wei Zhentian had turned into a thin needle and hidden in the ruins. Yi Xian could observe the battle through it. This was a good opportunity, so he naturally would not leave so easily. He was prepared to wait for the White Dragon sect experts to finish their battle with the Black Dragon sect experts before going over to pick up the scraps. This battle did not last long because the Black Dragon sect members were too scattered. Most of the time, they were fighting on their own and would escape at the first opportunity. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian quickly broke through the void and returned to pick up the scraps. He carefully walked through the entire ruins and obtained 7 corpses. However, at this time, an advanced half-step true lord suddenly attacked, so he could only leave. In total, there are actually more than 300 World Destruction Dragon Scales, 2 World Destruction Dragon Bones, and a large number of World Destruction Dragon Scales. What a haul! Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and quickly dispelled the fusion. Then, he let the World Destruction Ghost Dragon devour these. Soon, the World Destruction Ghost Dragon's increase exceeded 200%. However, after exceeding 200%, the number of World Destruction Dragon Scales required increased greatly. This time, he needed 20 World Destruction Dragon Scales to increase it by 1%. Chapter 1844. The group was scattered. If we go back now, we probably won't be able to pick them up. Yi Xian felt helpless. If only his cultivation base was high enough, it would have been great. If his cultivation base was high enough, he could kill everyone and definitely obtain thousands or even thousands of world-destroying dragon scales. Unfortunately, he was not strong enough now. However, at this moment, ding! The host has triggered a series of random missions. Escort Chi Hao back to his clan. Reward: Wei Zhentian's artifact form upgrade. The system suddenly notified. Wei Zhentian's artifact form upgrade? Hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes lit up. The artifact form upgrade, not the specific artifact upgrade, meant that the Mystic God Armor, Soul-Absorbing Bell, Necromancer Kettle, Portrait of 10,000 Beasts, and other artifacts' effects would all be upgraded. That's right. At that moment, Yi Xian asked Chi Hao where his clan was. Then, Yi Xian started his journey. When he first met Chi Hao, he was very far away. After all, they had passed through several teleportation portals. Moreover, that was the place where he and Li Jun had fought for the 3rd time. If he went there now, he did not know if he would meet Li Jun. That day, he and Li Jun were evenly matched. Chi Hao helped Li Jun, and that was why Li Jun was defeated. Yi Xian guessed that the next time he met Li Jun, the latter would not be afraid of Chi Hao. At that time, he would have to rely on himself. Of course, if Li Jun came after he completed the escort mission, he would have a higher chance of winning. After all, Wei Zhentian's artifact form upgrade. Even so, Yi Xian did not want to meet Li Jun now. Hence, he used the immortal grade devouring system to analyze in his mind. He decided to use another method to go back. Of course, this did not mean that Yi Xian would fly back. Instead, he would use another teleportation route to avoid the previous location. Li Jun escaped to the east that day. In addition to the direction of the city that I have been teleporting to, he should be in the east towards the direction of the 100 Scales meeting. In that case, I will use the teleportation array in the west to leave. Yi Xian thought to himself. Wah! The teleportation array began to operate, and Yi Xian arrived at a new city. However, the teleportation formation couldn't send him to Qi Hao's clan, so Yi Xian still had to travel on his own for about 6 to 7 days. During this period, Yi Xian had broken through to become a rank 2 true master, while Infernal Ghostly Lord, World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Heaven-Breaking Ape God, and the others were all rank 6 true masters. She wondered what realm Li Jun was at now. Perhaps he was already a rank 5 half-step true lord. Along the way, Yi Xian was on tenterhooks as he hurried along. But this time, he was very lucky and did not run into Li Jun. Soon, Yi Xian arrived at Qi Hao's residence. Qi Hao's family was built in the wilderness, near a dangerous place. It was said that the strongest person in the family was a true monarch, just like the giant from that day. Ding! Host has completed the first round of the chain random mission. The moment Qi Hao entered Yi Xian's house, a system notification rang out in his mind. The atmosphere seems a little strange? Qi Hao said with some surprise. What's strange? Yi Xian raised an eyebrow. After all, this was his first time in Qi Hao's house, so he did not know what was strange. Just as he finished speaking, an old man hurried over and said, "Second young master, you're finally back." "Grandpa Steward, what's wrong?" Qi Hao asked curiously. The old man paused and said, "It's like this. A genius with 200 scales has appeared in the Lian clan." "A genius with 200 scales?" Hearing this, Qi Hao's eyes narrowed slightly. "Isn't that the same as Big Brother? Who is it?" "It's Lian Jun from the Lian clan." "He's the same as first young master, a rank 9 half-step true lord," the old man replied. "A 9th stage half-step true lord. A genius who has fused with 200 pieces of the World Annihilation Dragon Scales just like Big Brother." Qi Hao paused for a moment before he said, "Does this mean that the Qi family is going to kill Lian Jun?" "That Lian Jun is currently being closely guarded by the Lian clan. He's been staying in the Lian clan all this time, and the Patriarch and the others are all looking for a countermeasure," the old man said. "The Blood Flame Hall's emissary will be here soon. If he finds out that the Lian clan also has a genius, I'm afraid that first young master." Hearing this, Qi Hao could not help but nod. "With our relationship with the Lian clan, if that Lian Jun joins the Blood Flame Hall, our Qi family will only have one outcome, and that is to be destroyed. Of course there was another way out, and that was to migrate the entire family and leave this place. However, with the Black Dragon calamity, it would be very dangerous for the entire family to migrate. This was no small matter, so Qi Hao joined the Qi family's meeting while Yi Xian was arranged to stay in the Qi family's residence. After a while, Qi Hao returned. "What kind of faction is the Blood Flame Hall?" Yi Xian could not help but ask when he saw Qi Hao return. "There are half-step true monarchs in the Blood Flame Hall, but that's the hallmaster of the main hall. The Blood Flame Hall we speak of is only a branch established here. However, as long as one joins it, one will soar to the heavens in the future," Qi Hao replied. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly recalled the old man's words and asked, "So this branch of the Blood Flame Hall is also a branch of the Black Dragon cult?" "Yes. That's why our Qi family wants to compete with the Lian clan for this spot. As long as one can join the Blood Flame army of the Blood Flame Hall, they will be able to obtain large amounts of cultivation resources. If one's aptitude is good, they will even be nurtured by the main hall." Qi Hao nodded. "In the beginning, our Qi family did not place the Lian clan in our eyes. But who would have thought that a genius would appear in the Lian clan? Even a true monarch would need to be at least a 3rd stage true monarch in order to absorb 200 world destruction dragon scales. Only a 3rd stage true monarch could absorb 200 world destruction dragon scales. The Lian clan's Lian Jun and the Qi family's Lian Jun were both 9th stage true monarchs. If this was not a genius, then what was? Then how are you going to deal with this? Yi Xian couldn't help but ask. He felt that the chain mission this time was related to this matter, so he had to ask clearly. With his current strength, although he could not help much, he would have the qualifications to do so if given some time. Just now, my father has already communicated with the Lien clan's patriarch. They are preparing to have my elder brother fight with the Lien clan's Lien